Chapter 848. Because Hua Piao Miao killed Wang Si Miao's sister, and his most beloved woman. Mo Bin said. Although he didn't take revenge on her, he still bears a grudge in his heart. Looks like their relationship isn't bad. Fatty Chu curled his lips and said. How can it be good? Lunatic. He drank a mouthful of wine and leaned over to say. Hua Piao Miao likes Mo Bin. But Mo Bin doesn't like her and has been ignoring her. Haven't you noticed that she has a lot of opinions about us? It's because Mo Bin is with us and not with her. Scared me. I was wondering why she always had such a cold face when she saw us. Turns out there were so many twists and turns involved. Fatty Chu said. Especially Bei Gong. When she looks at Bei Gong, it's as if she wants to eat someone. Wei Ziqi said. Isn't that so? When a woman's vinegar jar is knocked over, it's very scary. He Feng said. But she didn't pester Mo Bin. It's probably because of his pride, Sima Yue said. She turned to look at Wang Si Miao, who was talking to someone. His beloved woman and sister had both died because of the same person. No matter what the reason was, he must be sad. However, he was very rational and didn't seek revenge on her. He was still able to enter and leave the academy with her. No wonder there was a hint of sadness in his cold eyes. Senior Mo, she's the #1 beauty of the academy, and she's also very strong. I've heard that her background isn't bad either. How could you not like her? You could even be so heartless as to ignore her. Normal people wouldn't be able to do that. Just like that Pang Jianan, he couldn't wait to have his eyes glued to her body. Fatty Chu laughed and teased Mo Bin. Mo Bin smiled but did not answer him. If he didn't like her, he just didn't like her. There was no need for so many reasons. However, Sima Yue felt that something was wrong. She looked at Mo Bin, then at Pang Jianan and Wang Si Miao. Something was wrong. What's wrong? Bei Gong Tang saw her frown, and immediately knew that something was wrong. Do you feel that something is wrong? Sima Yue asked. What's wrong? Bei Gong Tang didn't really listen to their conversation, and didn't think too much about it. Lunatic said that Hua Piao Miao likes Mo Bin. Sima Yue said. But Fatty said that Pang Jianan wanted to kill him because Hua Piao Miao and Wang Si Miao were together. Don't you think it's a bit contradictory? I think so. Bei Gong Tang said. Logically speaking, since Pang Jianan likes Hua Piao Miao, he should hate Mo Bin. Why would he say that he wants to kill Wang Si Miao? That's right. However, what Fatty said must be true. Sima Yue said. That's why I feel that it's a little strange. Why is that? Bei Gong Tang did not understand. Sima Yue shook her head. She could not figure it out either. I can't think of anything. Let's wait and see. Try not to let Fatty act alone. That's the only way. After Tang Yin sold all the pills that Sima Yue gave him, he threw a crystal card to her. Here 80 pills, 3,000 each, sold for 240,000. Adding on 50 prevention pills for 15,000. The total is 259,000. Sima Yue kept the crystal card and smiled. Thanks. If you thank me like this, you're not sincere at all. I helped you sell so many pills. Tang Yin said. Sima Yue took out 2 spirit fruits and threw them back. Thank you. Tang Yin wanted to say that 2 spirit fruits were enough to dismiss him. But he swallowed those words back. He realized that these 2 spirit fruits were not ordinary. They were much rarer than normal spirit fruits. Hee, this is not bad. I'll keep it. The sky is bright, what should we do next? Lunatic, he asked. We can walk around the desert, and see if we can find any golden scorpions. Don't you want to collect the golden scorpion's tails? Tang Yin took a bite of the spirit fruit. The sweet juice flowed through his teeth, causing him to close his eyes in pleasure. It's so delicious. Is it that delicious? Lunatic, he did not believe him. It was not like they had not eaten spirit fruits before. Did this guy have to be like this? You'll know once you try it. Tang Yin said. But I don't plan to give it to you. You can just watch. At this moment, Wang Si Miao walked over and said to Little Seven and Mo Bin. I'm going back. You guys are much stronger, so you should take care of those students. No. Little Seven rejected. We're leaving soon. Just let them wait here. Little Seven. Wang Si Miao looked at her pleadingly. No, I don't want to be with that peacock. Little 7 said. I'm not as kind as you. With you around, they'll be safer. Wang Ximiao said. I'm not their bodyguard. Little 7 snorted. They won't be grateful to me for protecting them. A bunch of ingrates. Furthermore, you and the rest have already decided to go to the desert. I'll definitely follow her. Wang Ximiao looked at Sima Yue and said, Student Sima. Senior Wang, I believe that with Senior Hua and the rest around, everyone will be fine. Sima Yue did not wait for him to finish speaking before she spoke. I think that freshmen like us will be a burden to everyone if we stay here. For everyone's safety, it's better for us to leave. Although she wanted to help the other students, when Li Yener ridiculed her, when Hua Piao Miao and the rest despised her, no one stood up for her. She did not want to help people like them. She was willing to sell the elixirs to them because they were all students of the academy. If she were to be their bodyguard, it would be impossible. But, Senior Wang, I think that you should go back earlier and inform the academy. The academy should send people over earlier. That way, everyone will be out of danger sooner. Sima Yue interrupted him. Wang Ximiao saw how determined Sima Yue was and knew that she was angry with everyone. He did not say anything else. He turned to look at Mo Bin and the rest. Don't ask me to go with them. You know that I want to vomit when I see peacocks. Tang Yin rejected him directly. I said that I want to go with you, Yue. Yifeng said. I'll go with them. Mo Bin said, you have to believe that the people from the academy will not be too bad. Since you've decided to go back, you should leave earlier. All right then. Wang Ximiao did not force them. After all, they were the ones who offended Yue and the rest first. Yu, where's the poison that you made last time? Little 7 asked. Sima Yue was stunned. She took out a small black bottle and a small red bottle, and handed them to Wang Ximiao, saying, the black bottle is the poison and the red bottle is the antidote. This poison can poison a monarch-level expert for 10 minutes. Wang Ximiao looked at Sima Yue and Little 7 in confusion. I'm giving it to you, so just take it, just in case. Alright, you should go. Little 7 stuffed the 2 bottles into his arms and said. Chapter 849. Crazy Wife. The Fifth Miss of the Divine Doctor. Book title. 849. Chapter 849. The Excited Little Golden Snake Author. Wang Ximiao was puzzled, but when he saw Pang Jianan walking towards him, he took the bottle and said to Sima Yue, thank you. Pang Jianan walked over and said, you're really going back? I've decided. I'll set off immediately. Wang Ximiao replied. Be careful on the way. I know. Wang Ximiao called out his flying beast and flew towards the desert. After he left, Little 7 said to Sima Yue, Yu, let's go. You're leaving? Pang Jianan asked curiously. We want to go to other places to look. Maybe we can meet other people. Sima Yue said. But it's safer for everyone to stay together. You guys already have 1 pill each. There shouldn't be much of a problem before the sect members come. Sima Yue said. Yu, let's go. Little 7 urged. Without Wang Ximiao, she didn't want to see these people. Sima Yue nodded and said goodbye to everyone, ignoring their pleas to stay, and left. They didn't ask her to stay because they were sincere, but because they wanted her pills and Little 7's battle power. Hua Piao Miao saw Mo Bin leave. Her eyes flashed with anger, but it disappeared quickly. She bit her lips, smiled and chatted with the people around her. Chongming led everyone away and flew away from the oasis. Little 7 said disdainfully, that's good, we don't have to see that peacock anymore. Little 7, based on your personality, if you don't like her, you would have punched her long ago. How can you endure it this time? Sima Yue teased. Isn't it because of old Yuan? He said they are the sex students. If they didn't do anything wrong, we can't beat them. Little 7 said. So I can't beat them. Although I really want to. Seeing the helpless look on Little 7's face, everyone couldn't help but laugh. Usually she would want to beat anyone she saw, but now she wanted to beat them but couldn't. It made them happy. Hiss hiss. Hiss hiss. Sima Yue felt Little Golden was agitated in the spirit pagoda, so she called it out. Hiss. What's wrong, Little Golden? Sima Yu saw little golden slithering around her body and touched its head. Hiss hiss. Xiao Jin wrapped itself around her finger and looked at her with shining eyes. Hiss. Sima Yu tapped its head with her other hand and said with a smile, I don't understand what you're talking about. This snake is very cute. Can't it speak? Tang Yan looked at the little golden snake curiously. Not. Generally, snakes gave people a cold and sinister feeling. Being glanced at by a snake would always make people feel a chill down their backs. But little golden was different. Its small size made it very cute. Its gaze was not as cold as normal snakes, but instead it was cold. Of course, this coldness disappeared when it looked at Yu. Hiss hiss. Little golden looked at Sima Yu. Its little tail poked her, and then pointed in a direction. You want us to go in that direction? Sima Yu asked. Little golden nodded. Sima Yu looked at everyone, seeing that no one objected. She nodded her head and said, All right, since we don't have a fixed direction, we'll do as you say. Chongming, fly in the direction that little golden pointed. She didn't know what little golden wanted to do, but her instincts told her that it wasn't simple. Little golden was an ancient creature. If it was interested in something, how could it be ordinary? On the way, Sima Yu and the rest met a few groups of students from the school. When they met a better person, she would sell them the pills at a cheaper price, then bring them to a safer place and let them form a group. With more people, it would be safer if they stayed together. Other than these scattered people, she also met a few groups, from tens to hundreds of people. With more people, more pills would be needed. They had no choice but to stop in the middle and enter the spirit pagoda when Mo Bin and the rest weren't paying attention, to refine the pills before coming out. After flying for more than 10 days, everyone arrived at a huge oasis. Little golden didn't wait for them to land. It flew out with a whoosh, disappearing in front of everyone in the blink of an eye. Little golden. Sima Yu saw it fly away and called out, but it didn't come back. Seems like this is where little golden wants to come to. Everyone landed at the edge of the oasis. This was where Xiao Jin had disappeared. It's so quiet here. Mo Bin immediately realized that something was wrong. It was as if there were no living creatures in the oasis. It was ridiculously quiet. Where did little golden go? It seems to have burrowed into the yellow sand. Should we go down? Yifeng said. Sima Yu thought about it and said, No. You're not worried about it. We're not familiar with this place. If we go down rashly, I'm afraid it'll be more dangerous. Sima Yu said, Why don't we wait for it up there? What if it meets with danger down there? I think there's no spirit beast here that can be its opponent. Sima Yu said. Although she had never seen little golden fight before, from the aura that little golden occasionally emitted, normal spirit beasts were not its opponent. Even if it was a monarch-ranked expert, it could easily flip them over with a flick of its tail. I wonder what can attract it down there, Bei Gongtang said curiously. Maybe we'll know when it comes out. Rustle. A rustling sound came from below the yellow sand. It was especially noticeable in this quiet environment. No wonder it's so quiet here. There's a big guy down there. Tang Yan heard the sound and immediately guessed the situation below. Everyone be careful, Mo Bin said. Sima Yu and Bei Gongtang took out a precautionary pill and distributed it to everyone, saying, Take the precautionary pill first. It's best if you can keep the antidote in your mouth, just in case. Not only did everyone have one antidote, everyone also called out their contracted beasts and gave one to each of them. Tang Yan and the other two were stunned when they saw so many contracted beasts. Damn, 30 to 40 contracted beasts. Is this a spirit beast army? Tang Yan couldn't help but curse. This array would definitely scare people to death if they went out. This was still considered good. If they knew about the elders and four-winged rocks in the spirit pagoda, they would be even more shocked. Everyone be careful. This number is not an ordinary number. Sima Yulin said. Fatty Chu, distribute the thunderbolt bullets to everyone. Use it when necessary. Sima Yu said. Fatty Chu was stunned. They actually had to use thunderbolt bullets? How many golden scorpions were coming this time? Gentlemen's Assembly Reading Network. Chapter 850. read on a phone, covering the sky and covering the earth. Tens of thousands of golden scorpions came out from the yellow sand, and the entire oasis was occupied in an instant. Damn, so many. Eat this young master's thunderbolt first. Fatty Chu looked at the sky full of golden scorpions, and took out a thunderbolt bullet. After injecting his spirit energy, he threw it out. Boom dash, the thunderbolt bullet exploded, killing a large number of golden scorpions. So powerful. Tang Yen stared dumbfoundedly at the empty corpses and said excitedly, "It's so fun, I want to play too." After speaking, he took out a thunderbolt bullet and imitated Fatty Chu, injecting spirit energy into it before throwing it out. Boom dash, those golden scorpions had just flown up when they were hit by the thunderbolt bullet. Those in the center were even turned into ashes. Not to mention their tails, there wasn't even a speck of them left. Those outside the center were shocked to death, leaving behind broken limbs. Some were even left with whole corpses. What a pity. Fatty Chu looked at the results and felt that it was a pity. It would be great if they could leave their tails behind. You still have the mood to feel pity? Hurry up and do it. Otherwise, don't cry when you get stung. Ouyang Fei stood beside Fatty Chu and glanced at him. I know, Fatty Chu said. Let's see who kills more. How about it? Bei Gong, you come too. All right. As you wish, don't cry if you get beaten up. Bei Gong Tang said with a smile. We still don't know who will win or lose. Fatty Chu flew over after speaking. Fatty, you're cheating. Bei Gong Tang scolded him and flew out with Ouyang Fei. Sima Yue saw them fly out and said to He Feng, "Didn't you say you wanted to compete with me? We don't have to fight directly. Let's use today as a comparison. Let's see who gets the most tails and who wins. How about it?" All right. He Feng nodded. But if I get more than you, you still have to fight with me. All right. Sima Yue said, releasing the aura of a beginner Divine Emperor. She condensed her spirit energy and attacked. Divine Emperor. Emobin was shocked by Sima Yue's strength. Such a young Divine Emperor. I'm coming too. He Feng quickly recovered from his astonishment and chased after him. All of you compete. Then I'll join as well. Tang Yen said and flew away. The thunderbolt bombs were thrown out one by one, and the golden scorpions were completely defenseless in front of them. Although there were many golden scorpions, and they flew out of the yellow sand wave after wave, almost half of them were killed by the thunderbolt bombs. In addition, none of them were weak. After a few hours, most of them were wiped out. The remaining ones saw that the situation was not right and quickly hid in the yellow sand to escape. He Feng flew over and said, I have 2,800. What about you? 200 more than you. Exactly 3,000, Sima Yue said with a smile. She actually has 200 more than me. He Feng was a little discouraged. It seemed like he wouldn't be able to compete with her. Maybe we'll meet in the second round. Sima Yue said, I'll go check on them. After saying that, she flew away, leaving He Feng alone in the air. Crazy, you've lost. But it's not embarrassing to lose to her. Tang Yen flew over and patted him on the shoulder. I didn't expect her to be a divine emperor. I know. 200 less than her. He Feng sighed. His battle power was not even comparable to a new student. Not only that, you ate a pill to recover your spiritual energy during the battle, but she didn't eat anything from the start to the end. Emobin said what Tang Yen wanted to say. He Feng's mouth was wide open as he looked at Sima Yue's back as she spoke to them. He didn't close his mouth for a long time. Fatty Chu and the rest were counting their battle results. Although he was full of fighting spirit, the final result was that he had the least points. Just as he was feeling depressed, he saw Sima Yue come over. He waved at her and said, Yue, how many golden scorpions did you kill? 3,000. Sima Yue said, So, who won the bet between the three of you? Do you even need to ask? Of course it's Ouyang. Apart from you, he's the strongest. Fatty Chu said unwillingly. But I'm only 200 less than him. What about Bei Gong? I'm 2,300, right in between the two of them. Bei Gong Tang said with a smile. You're still the best, killing 3,000 alone. There are more golden scorpions this time, so everyone's gains are not bad. If we bring these back, we might be able to rank in the top 1,000. Sima Yue said. Why are there so many golden scorpions here? Bei Gongtang asked. I think this should be the source of the change in Kama Desert. Sima Yuren also finished cleaning up his area and walked over. When he heard Bei Gongtang's question, he guessed. Here? There are more golden scorpions here than in other places. Their strength is higher than in other places, and their bodies are longer. Sima Yuran said. Also, a place that can make little golden disregard everything is definitely not an ordinary place. So it's possible that this is the reason for the change in Kama Desert. Fatty Chu was interested when he heard this and asked, Then should we go down and take a look? Go down to do what? Sima Yulin said. You don't even know what's going on down there. Do you think you're as strong as Little Golden? Fatty Chu rubbed his nose, unable to refute this. Yulin is right. We don't know what's going on down there. Let's wait for Little Golden to come up first. Sima Yue said, When the sex teachers come over, we can tell them what's going on here and let them decide whether or not to investigate further. With so many golden scorpions, we don't have to go anywhere else. Let's go to the oasis and wait for Little Golden. Let's wait first. If Little Golden doesn't come up in 2 days, I'll go down and take a look. Sima Yue said, Let's go back to the oasis now. Just as she spoke, a golden ray of light suddenly shot out from the yellow sand and enveloped them all, making them unable to move. What's going on? Fatty Chu cried out. Nobody had time to speak. The yellow sand below moved and quickly formed a huge whirlpool, sucking them all in. At the same time, in other parts of the desert, everyone saw this ray of light. At the oasis where Yu and the others met, Wang Si Miao, 2 teachers had just arrived and understood the situation. When they saw the golden ray of light, they looked at each other and said, Let's go and take a look. They opened a space tunnel and brought everyone in. The other teachers did the same. They brought the students they found and opened a space tunnel to rush in. Hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from the Kama Desert, those forces felt an ancient aura spreading out from the desert. Many experts of those forces ran out. When they saw the golden light, they didn't have time to explain anything. They directly broke through the void and rushed over. Chapter 851. Crazy Wife. The Fifth Miss of the Divine Doctor. Book title, 851. Chapter 851. The Ancient Altar. Author. Less than half an hour after the golden light shot out, the Karma Desert was filled with experts. What's going on? The people who came later saw familiar faces and asked about the situation. I don't know. No one recognized the origin of this golden light. Such an ancient aura. It must be something from the ancient times. I don't think it's just that. The ancient aura doesn't have such a strong aura. I'm guessing that it's at least from the ancient times. An old man with a long beard said while stroking his beard. If it's really from the ancient times, then we can't act rashly. If we're not careful, we'll lose our lives. Mo Bin. Hua Piao Miao suddenly shouted and quickly flew to the ground. She picked up a jade pendant and flew back quickly. The yellow sand kept flowing into the whirlpool. The jade pendant was at the edge of the whirlpool. If it wasn't for her sharp eyes and quick hands, it would have fallen in. What's wrong, Piao Miao? Mao Sanquan saw that she ignored her own danger to pick up the jade pendant and looked at her with slight blame. Instructor Mao, this is Mo Bin's jade pendant. Hua Piao Miao said. Are you sure? Mao Sanquan's expression changed immediately. This jade pendant has always been on his belt. His mother gave it to him, so I recognize it. Hua Piao Miao said confidently. So Mo Bin was sucked in by the sand. A teacher at the side said. Very likely. Mao Sanquan said in a low voice. Do you know who he's with? Tang Yan and He Feng, and the people from the Thunderbolt team. Peng Jianan said. Sima Yue and Little Seven are in there too? Yes. These guys, what are they doing here? Mao Sanquan scolded. Instructor Mao, should we go down and take a look? A teacher asked. Go down? How do we go down? Look at them, can we go down? Mao Sanquan was anxious. The whirlpool was surrounded by the golden light. Some people wanted to go down, but they were blocked by the golden light. So even if Mao Sanquan and the rest wanted to go down and save Yu Yue and the rest, they were too far away. They could only be anxious here. These guys. Go back and face the wall one by one. Mao Sanquan scolded again and called all the teachers together to discuss countermeasures. At the same time, he paid attention to the situation at the Golden Light to see if anyone could go down. The academy's teachers on the ground were extremely anxious, afraid that something bad had happened to them. On the other hand, Sima Yue and the others were completely fine as they stared at their surroundings with their mouths agape. After they fell, the golden light disappeared, and everyone regained their freedom. Now he didn't know how many meters he was underground. It was no longer the yellow sand of the desert, but a hard wall. The walls were engraved with various patterns, some of which were of various spirit beasts, and some of which were of humans. The appearance of spirit beasts was somewhat different from the spirit beasts of today, and the clothing of humans was also very different from now. These murals seem to be from a very long time ago. Tang Yan said, "These are all ancient human clothing." Emobin reached out to touch the carvings and said excitedly, "Primordial era? Are you sure? How could something from that time be left behind until now?" Tang Yan said in shock, "It can't be wrong. This is the same as the description in a book I read last time." Emobin said with certainty, "Why are these murals still here after so many years? Won't they be eroded by the wind?" Sima Yuming asked. "Emobin, you're quite knowledgeable about the ancient era. Do you know what this is?" Yifeng asked. Emobin looked carefully at the contents of the murals and the decorations here, saying, "This should be an altar from the ancient era." "Altar? There are only walls here, no altar," Sima Yulu said. "This is the outside of the altar. The altar should be in the middle," Emobin said. "Because it's an altar, it was carefully protected by the people of the ancient era." "Aren't altars in the open? No matter how you look at it, it looks like a cave," Fatty Chu said. "I'm guessing that this place used to be protected by a spirit barrier. Later on, the world changed and this place sank into the ground. Soil covered it, but it could only pile up outside the spirit barrier. After a long time, this place became an underground cave," Emobin guessed. "It can be like this?" Everyone was surprised. "Look at this wall. It's been repaired very well. It's not a natural stone, but a man-made one," Emobin said. "Too mysterious. Let's take a look in front." "Okay." They passed through the passageway and entered a courtyard. In the middle of the courtyard, there was a cauldron. The incense inside had already solidified into stone. "Wow, wow, wow, a treasure." Fatty Chu was excited when he saw the cauldron. He ran over and hugged it excitedly. "It's something from the ancient era. It's really not bad," Ouyang Fei said. "So heavy." Fatty Chu hugged it, but found that he couldn't lift it at all. "Isn't it just a cauldron? Is it that heavy?" Sima Yulu walked over and tried, but he couldn't lift it at all. "Ha ha ha. At least I moved it a little." "You didn't move at all," Fatty Chu said with a big laugh. "Is it really that heavy? Are you two not strong enough?" Yifeng didn't believe it. He felt that they weren't strong enough. He went up and tried, but the cauldron didn't move at all. "This should be a divine artifact from the ancient era," Emobin said. People from the ancient era valued sacrifices very much. They used the best things at that time. "No wonder we can't move it," Sima Yulu said. "Fatty Chu is a body refiner. His body is stronger than yours. He's much stronger." Sima Yu walked over and said, "If he isn't stronger than you, his years of hard work would be wasted. Don't you have a body refiner as well? Why don't you give it a try?" Fatty Chu said. "Yeah, let's try." "Okay." Sima Yu walked in front of the cauldron. She grabbed one of the cauldron's ears and used her strength. The cauldron was lifted up by 10 centimeters. The cauldron landed on the ground with a loud sound. "I can only move it a little. You can lift it up by 10 centimeters. Fatty Chu hugged the cauldron and cried. "All right, Yu is often struck by lightning. If you have nothing to do, you'll get a lot of strength. Don't cry here," Wei Ziqi advised. Sima Yu and Fatty Chu pursed their lips. Was this how they advised others? Bin and the other two were shocked when they heard that she was often struck by lightning. How did you survive? That's how I survived. Sima you didn't want to talk about this. She changed the topic and said, let's go inside and take a look. Who knows, little Golden might be inside. It's possible. They shot out flames to light up the front. After passing through the courtyard, they walked through a long corridor. Before they reached the end, they heard fighting sounds coming from inside. Gentlemen's Assembly Hall Reading Network. Chapter 852. When Sima Yue and the rest walked to the end of the corridor, they saw a huge golden scorpion as soon as they opened the door. Opposite it was a small snake that was less than a foot long and the size of a little finger. Please search to see the most complete. Update the fastest. Behind the golden scorpion, on a huge altar, a golden stone emitted a bright light, directly piercing through the stone ceiling and shooting out. This was the golden light that had frozen them in place. Little Gold. Fatty Chu's low breathing attracted Xiao Jin and the golden scorpion's attention. Hiss hiss. When the little golden snake saw Sima Yue and the rest, it wagged its tail happily at them. It was not nervous at all. What a huge golden scorpion. The average golden scorpion was less than a foot long. This might be the golden scorpion king. It was more than 3 meters long from head to tail, 10 times the size of the smaller ones. The golden scorpion's strength was already at the peak of the monarch rank. It didn't care about the few humans who had barged in at all. It didn't take any action and just looked at the little golden snake with vigilance. Sima Yue looked around and saw that many things were in disarray. There were also some wounds on the golden scorpion's body. It seemed that they had fought a battle. Then what's that at the back? Everyone looked at Bin. He knew the most about the supreme ancient immortal realms here. Bin shook his head. I don't know either. But I think the change in the golden scorpion should be related to it. I think so too, Fatty Chu said. If we get our hands on it, I wonder if we will mutate as well. You can give it a try. Who knows, you might be able to grow 2 wings. Wei Ziqi said. Fatty Chu imagined a pair of wings on his back and couldn't help but shudder, saying, forget about it. Let's retreat outside. Bin saw that the little golden snake and the golden scorpion were about to attack, so he led everyone back and set up a barrier to protect everyone. Sima Yue looked at his skillful movements. His attainments in enchantments should not be low. The golden scorpion swung its long tail at the little golden snake. The little golden snake dodged quickly and spat out a mouthful of venom. The golden scorpion's body was huge, but it wasn't clumsy at all. Its dodging speed was quite fast. With the support of its tail on the ground, its body flashed to the other side. However, a little bit of the venom still touched its feet, corroding a small hole in its hard shell. The golden scorpion let out a scream and continued to attack with its tail. The little golden snake kept dodging and taking advantage of the gaps to counterattack. Everyone looked at the snake and scorpion. Their battle speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, they had already exchanged several blows. However, no matter how they looked at it, they felt that the little golden snake was playing with the golden scorpion. Xiao Jin, if you continue to play, the item will be snatched away. Sima Yue reminded. The golden light was so eye-catching, and its aura was so ancient. It would definitely attract many people. When those people came down, the golden stone would cause another storm. The little golden snake didn't know the twists and turns, but it understood Sima Yue's words. It blinked at her, then turned its head to look at the golden scorpion and stuck out its tongue. Then, its tail grew infinitely, from half a foot long to 3 to 4 meters long. At the same time, its tail also grew bigger. Although its head was still small, its tail became as thick as an adult's waist. The golden scales emitted a dazzling light under the golden light. Although it was the same color as the golden scorpion, it looked much more noble. What beautiful scales! Everyone was stunned. They never knew that a snake's scales could be so beautiful. When the golden scorpion saw the little golden snake's tail, it thought of something and suddenly revealed a terrified expression. It turned its head and ran into a tunnel. However, the little golden snake was faster than it. With a swing of its tail, the golden scorpion's upper body was flattened just like that. What a powerful battle strength! Everyone's jaws almost fell to the ground. When they saw the little golden snake, they subconsciously swallowed their saliva. Although the golden scorpion's strongest point was its venom, its shell was still relatively hard. Especially for a scorpion of the golden scorpion king's level. Its shell was even harder. A golden scorpion with the strength of a monarch rank was killed by a swing of its tail. How powerful was it? The little golden snake didn't care about everyone's reaction. It used its tail to wrap around the golden scorpion's tail, and brought it in front of Sima Yue, as if it was silently asking for credit. Sima Yue used her spiritual power to hold on to the tail. Only then did the little golden snake let go. The tail then began to shrink and quickly returned to its usual small size. Hiss hiss. It flew toward the glowing stone on the altar. Suddenly, it opened its mouth wide and swallowed it whole. Little Seven. Sima Yue saw Little Seven's actions, and was shocked. She wanted to stop it, but it was too late. She could only watch as it swallowed the stone. Hiss hiss. Bang. After the little golden snake swallowed the stone, it fell straight to the ground. Everyone rushed out of the spirit barrier, and ran over. Sima Yue carried Little Seven. She saw that its eyes were wide open, and its body couldn't move. It didn't seem to be in any danger. You eat everything. Aren't you afraid that it's poisonous? Sima Yue's heart finally relaxed. She stretched out her hand and flicked its little head, scolding it. The little golden snake couldn't move. It could only blink innocently and then fell asleep. Fifth bro, is little golden okay? Sima Yue asked. It should be fine. Sima Yue kept little golden into the spirit pagoda. Mo Bin and the others noticed but didn't say anything. Let's go take a look at the scorpion's tail. The golden scorpion's tail took up more than half of its body. It was close to 2 meters long. The poison gland inside was definitely big. Who knows, the people above might come down in a while. Let's keep it first. Tang Yen said. No need. Sima Yue said. It's hard to say if we keep it. That's true. Sima Yue looked at Mo Bin and the others, saying, about little golden, please keep it a secret. I will give you some things as thanks. No need. Mo Bin said. There's nothing much to say about this. No, you have to thank us. Tang Yen stopped them. Give us more of the spirit fruit as thanks. PFFF. Sima Yue laughed, saying, okay, I'll let you eat until you're full. I don't need it either. I just want to have a duel with you if you're willing. How about it? Yifeng said. Sima Yue didn't think that he still hadn't given up. She nodded, okay. At this time, a sound came from outside. A group of people came out from the tunnel. The ones leading were Mao Sanquan and 2 teachers from the sect. There was a group of people who she didn't know behind them. Chapter 853. Book title. Encounter and Murder on the Road. Author. Seeing that Sima Yue and the rest were fine, Mao Sanquan and the teachers' faces relaxed. What's wrong with you guys? Why are you here? Mao Sanquan asked with a long face. We didn't want to come either. Tang Yen said, feeling wronged. We were also implicated. What the hell is going on? Mo Bin, you speak. Mao Sanquan looked at Mo Bin and said. The people who came in with them also shifted their attention from the golden scorpion to them, wanting to know what was going on. Mo Bin said that they came here by chance and encountered tens of thousands of golden scorpions. After a great battle, they had just won when a golden light appeared out of nowhere and covered them. A desert whirlpool appeared and swept them all in. In the end, they fell here. What about after we arrive here? What did you see? Did you guys kill this golden scorpion? Someone asked anxiously. No. Mo Bin shook his head. This golden scorpion was killed by a huge python. When we couldn't get in from the outside, we saw a huge python fighting with a golden scorpion. In the end, the golden scorpion was killed by a tail strike. After that, the python ate the glowing thing on the altar and left. It didn't hurt you, someone asked. Maybe it was in a hurry to digest it, so it didn't hurt us. It even threw the golden scorpion's corpse to us. Mo Bin replied. It meant that these things were all ours. Judging from the traces and smells here, there was indeed a snake clan here. The snake clan is the most sinister and vicious. How could they let a few humans go? Someone questioned. It can't be that you little fellows swallowed it, right? Is that python your contracted beast or something you made up? Hearing this, those people's eyes became unfriendly. Mao San-Quan stood in front of them and said, maybe it's just as he said, it's in a hurry to absorb that thing, so it doesn't want to waste time here. Or rather, it sensed that we were up there and knew that we would come down once the light was gone. So it quickly left. That's right. Furthermore, look at the strength of this golden scorpion. How strong is a snake that can kill it with a single tail? What kind of spirit beast do you think they'll be able to contract with? Even you guys might not be able to do it. Let alone 3 students. Mao San-Quan continued to refute their words. Those people were left speechless by Mao San-Quan's words. If you don't have any evidence, then don't casually suspect my academy students. They are all well-behaved and good children. Mao San-Quan snorted. Sima Yue and the rest lowered their heads when they heard Mao San-Quan's words. If that wasn't the case, they wouldn't be able to hide the smile in their eyes. However, they looked like they had been wronged, which made those who doubted them feel a little resentful. Since this thing was given to you by that snake, you can take it. Yes, Director Mao. Sima Yue walked over and kept the golden scorpion's body before returning to stand behind Mao San-Quan. Where did the python leave from? Someone asked. Over there. It transformed into a small form and flew away. If you want to chase after it, you have to pay attention to whether it's hiding somewhere. Emobin kindly reminded. Let's go look for it. Someone chased in the direction he only knew, but in the end, he was destined to get nothing. This is a sacrificial altar from the immemorial era. I didn't expect it to be hidden under the desert. Since they couldn't get that thing, they could only focus on the sacrificial altar. Other than here, have you guys been to other places? Mao San-Quan asked. No. Bring them to the surface. We'll observe the situation below. Mao San-Quan said to a teacher. They wanted to understand the situation here, so they had to investigate further. However, the situation here was unclear. Bringing a few students was too dangerous. Okay. The teacher said to Yue and the rest. Let's go up. Sima Yue and the rest knew that it wasn't their turn to participate in the following matters, so they obediently followed the teacher back to the surface. When the students who were guarding above saw Sima Yue and the rest coming up, they were all amazed at how lucky they were to return safely after being swept down. They thought that they were dead for sure. When Hua Piao Miao saw Emobin coming up, she walked over and passed the jade pendant in her hand to him, saying gently, "This is the jade pendant you dropped in the desert. I'm returning it to you now." Emobin had long realized that his jade pendant was missing, and thought that he would never find it again. He didn't expect her to pick it up. "Thank you." He took the jade pendant and thanked her lightly. "The students are all at the oasis. Let's go over too," Hua Piao Miao said. Luckily, the oasis was big enough to accommodate tens of thousands of people. The people from the school arrived here first, so they had the upper hand and occupied the pool. When Sima Yue and the rest arrived, they realized that the students from the school were all here. "Yue, thank you for your pill. I was stung by the golden scorpion once, and only managed to survive after taking your pill." A student came over and bowed to Sima Yue, thanking her for saving his life. "You bought it yourself. It's yours, you don't have to thank me like that." Sima Yue helped him up and said, "I still have to thank you. If you didn't refine this pill, where would we go to buy it? If we were stung, we would only be like the others, waiting for death." That person said loudly. Many people thought so too. If she didn't research the antidote for them, they didn't dare to think about their fates this time. They might even lose their lives here. Therefore they still worshipped and respected her. Sima Yue exchanged pleasantries with them for a while, then went to the lake. Little Seven saw Wang Si Miao standing under the tree by the lake, and pulled Sima Yue over. "You're quite fast," Little Seven greeted. Wang Si Miao was thinking about something. When he heard Little Seven, he turned around and saw the two people walking over. "Why are you here alone?" Sima Yue asked. "I'm thinking about something," Wang Si Miao said. Seeing that the surrounding students were far away, he cupped his hands towards Sima Yue and said, Thank you for the poison you gave me before I went back. You used it. I used it. Wang Ximiao said. When I was going back, I was attacked on the way back. The opponent was very strong. If it wasn't for the poison you gave me, I wouldn't have been able to return to the school. So dangerous? Sima Yue said. Then do you know who killed you? I guessed the person, but I didn't know the reason. Wang Ximiao said doubtfully. Gentlemen's alliance. Chapter 854. Wang Ximiao couldn't think of an answer. Suddenly, he remembered that Yue and the others had given him the antidote. Didn't that mean that they already knew that he would be ambushed? You already knew? He stared at the two of them. Fatty heard that someone wanted to kill you. Little Seven said. Why did he want to kill me? At that time it was because there were rumors that you and Hua Piaomiao were together. Sima Yue said. At that time we thought it was true, but after we found out about it we denied it. I'm with Hua Piaomiao? Why didn't I know about this? Wang Ximiao was startled. In the eyes of outsiders, the two of you do look like a couple. Even we think so. Afterwards, I heard from Mo Bin about the grudge between you and Hua Piaomiao and the matter of her liking Mo Bin. Only then did I know that his reason was not valid, Sima Yue said. If that's the case, why don't you think that he won't kill me? Because he was talking to someone who was completely covered in a cloak. He felt strange and wasn't sure if he would really kill you. So Little Seven took precautions. Sima Yue explained. His entire body is hidden in a cloak? Wang Ximiao frowned. That would make it difficult to recognize him. He cupped his hands at Sima Yue and said gratefully, no matter what, I still have to thank you. You're welcome. Sima Yue cupped her hands. On the other side, when Pang Jianan saw the three of them talking, his eyes were clouded. Who would have thought that those people actually failed? This Wang Ximiao's life was really tough. Let's see if you'll be so lucky next time. The other party seemed to have sensed his killing intent and looked over. He immediately lowered his head and concealed his killing intent. It seems like he hasn't given up on killing you. Sima Yue could feel the killing intent. She knew who it was without looking. This time, you just caught me off guard. Now that I'm on guard, it won't be so easy for him to make a move on me. Wang Ximiao snorted coldly. I think so too, Sima Yue said. Seeing that the oasis was filled with people, she asked, are all the students of the academy here? Other than the dead ones, the rest are all here. Wang Ximiao said. How many died? 200 or 300. It's much better than expected. Wang Ximiao said. If it weren't for the antidote you developed, I'm afraid the number would have increased by several times. We're happy to be able to help everyone, Sima Yue said. But some of the students are probably scared. They might feel better when they get back. After such an incident, I don't know if the matter of the billboard is still over. Will there be a new qualifier? That will depend on the arrangements of the academy, Wang Ximiao said. What did you encounter down there? Why is there only one teacher? Sima Yue repeated Mo Bin's words to Wang Ximiao. Wang Ximiao was stunned. I really didn't expect that there would be an immemorial altar below, he said in surprise. But if that's the case, I think Director Mao and the others won't be able to come up for a while. Once something from the primordial era appears, I'm afraid that many forces will come to snatch it. The academy should let us go back first. Sima Yue guessed. She guessed correctly. The teacher who brought them up received an order not long after to bring all the students back to the academy and call some other teachers over. 3 days later, all the students returned to the academy, but some teachers went to the Karma Desert. Mao Sanquan and the others didn't come back, so the billboard competition was postponed. But the academy's teachers still counted the number of golden scorpions they got. Although many people only got 1 or 2, some people still got quite a lot, such as the Thunderbolt team. Others got a few dozen. It was rare to get 100. But they got at least 1,000, leaving others behind by a few streets. When the students heard the news, they were excited again. The Thunderbolt team had the least number of people in the academy, was established the shortest, and most of the members were freshmen. They created miracles again and again, which greatly stimulated the older students. Many people came to join them. Sima Yue saw this, and went straight to the parting garden. Let Big Brother and the others handle these things. At this time, she was sitting leisurely in the parting garden, chatting with Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miaoshuang, talking about the Karma Desert. I didn't expect the academy competition to be so dangerous. Su Xiaoxiao said. Fortunately, you're all fine. If we knew, we would have gone with you. Han Miaoshuang said. We have a lot of people, so there won't be any danger. But that ancient altar, it's such a long time ago. Those people will definitely turn it upside down. Sima Yue said. And I heard that more and more people are going there. This matter won't be solved in a short time. It seems that the billboard competition will be delayed for a long time. Many people used the golden scorpion's tail to exchange for cultivation points, and went to the cultivation pagoda to cultivate. Sima Yue said. Oh right, how's your team? How else can it be? I hear them howling every day, saying how many people came, how many people want to join our team. Even some teams want to join our team. Sima Yue said helplessly. If it wasn't for the fact that they can't enter Parting Garden, I'm afraid they would come here. So Master's Place has become your refuge. Han Miaoshuang said with a smile. The new students in the past weren't as powerful as you guys. Now in their eyes, you guys are no longer new students. Sigh, I heard from Big Brother that the number of people in the team has increased by 20. They are all people who didn't join the team in the past. Even Hifeng, Tang Yan, and Mo Bin have joined. They joined too. Yeah. This was yesterday's news. I don't know how many people joined today. Sima Yue said with a headache. When they first formed the team, it was because they didn't want to join other teams. It wasn't because they wanted to expand. Now they couldn't even hide from it. Then ask how many people joined today. Han Miaoshuang said with interest. Okay. Sima Yue took out the Sun Mother Stone and contacted Bei Gong Tang, asking her about today's situation. Today was good. Although many people came, not many were able to join. Bei Gong Tang's voice sounded very happy. What happened? Wang Ximiao came with Mo Bin and the others this morning and joined the team together. Then they took charge in the courtyard. Hifeng took the lead and said that those who wanted to join the team had to beat Hifeng. So there were fewer people today. The corner of Sima Yu's mouth twitched. This was really an effective method. Chapter 855. After more than 10 days, Mao Sanquan and the other teachers came back. The moment they came back, they called Yue and the others over. The academy made a mistake in the selection this time. It's all thanks to all of you that there weren't any serious consequences. This is the reward for the three of you. Mao Sanquan said as he pointed to the 3 boxes on the table. Sima Yue did not stand on ceremony. She went up and casually picked up a box. When she opened it, there was a fist-sized purple crystal inside. Purple Fantasy Spirit Stone. She was a little surprised, but then she smiled and closed the box. Thank you, Director Mao. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei saw that she had accepted the items and also went up to accept the box, saying, Thank you, Director Mao. Director Mao, how's the immemorial altar? Sima Yue asked. It's all right. The few of us who went first found quite a few things. Although there were a few fights in the middle, our academy did not suffer any losses. Mao Sanquan said somewhat proudly. Sima Yue could imagine that scene. It would definitely cause a chaotic battle. Fortunately, the people of the academy were not willing to suffer a loss. Looking at Mao Sanquan's expression, it was easy to guess that it was the other people who had suffered a loss. They were the first to discover that place, but their strength was too low. In front of a powerful force, they had no choice but to retreat. Mao Sanquan also felt that it was a pity. The thing that emitted the golden light was the most precious thing in the immemorial altar. Unfortunately, I don't know which snake stole it. Mao Sanquan said regretfully. If we could get that thing, our academy would be rich again. Sima Yue thought that the snake that made the first move was sleeping in the spirit pagoda, and could not hear her sigh. Mao Sanquan sighed at the treasure and let it go. After all, it was something that he had never seen before. If it was gone, then it was gone. If he had seen it and then disappeared, he would have probably vomited a liter of blood. That's right, I heard that your score is the highest. You have to work hard during the competition, Mao Sanquan said. Based on the results of this battle? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Mao Sanquan said. Although there were some accidents, there were still people who achieved good results in this matter, so we feel that we can continue. Alright, you guys better get ready. When is the competition? Sima Yue asked. In another 3 to 5 days, the academy will send out a notice. Mao Sanquan said. Then we'll head back first. Go. The three of them left the office and returned to the dormitory. They told everyone about the upcoming competition. Knowing that there was going to be a competition, everyone's originally relaxed hearts were in suspense again. The academy's announcement was posted in the afternoon. One of them said that the finals of the ranking competition were about to begin, while the other said the list of contestants. The students of the academy took a look and found that the list was more or less the same as what everyone had expected. Thus, no one cared about the selection. 3 days later, the Billboard ranking competition officially began. On this day, Yue and the others arrived at the arena early in the morning. After the school's arrangement, the open-air square had been divided into 5 areas, and each area had a ring. The school's speed is really fast. In such a short period of time, they've already finished setting up the arena. Fatty Chu sighed. But are these arenas sturdy? Could it have cracked in the middle of the match? How could that be possible? If it really cracked, then how could the academy survive? Tang Yan and Emobin walked over and sat together with them. Were the arenas like this in the past? It's the same every time. Tang Yan said. First, it's the alchemist's competition. When their competition is over, they'll set up the arena. Don't think that this arena is temporary. The materials used are still good. I've never seen anyone break the arena. Is that so? Fatty chuckled. Who knows, maybe someone will break it this time. Brat, are you talking about yourself? Tang Yan smiled. If it's you, maybe you'll be able to do it in a few hundred years. Fatty nodded seriously and said, I'll work hard. Before I graduate from the academy, I have to break it at least once. Pfft. Everyone laughed. They didn't know what to say about this goal of his. At 8 in the morning, the entire plaza was filled with people. Almost all of the academy's students, regardless of whether they were on the rankings or not, had come. Very quickly, the academy's teachers also arrived. This time, there were more teachers than the previous few matches. Almost all of the judges were seated. A teacher came to the center of the plaza and raised his voice. Today, we will begin this year's Billboard ranking competition. I'll now announce the rules. Perhaps because of the twists and turns in the middle, the academy didn't think of anything new for this year's competition. Today is the preliminary round. According to your results, the top 50 will directly advance to the finals. The remaining 1,000 people will be divided into groups of 10. Each group will draw lots to battle. The remaining 125 people will compete with the previous 100. Fatty Chu leaned over to Tang Yan and said, Didn't you say that there would be 1,000 people? How did it become 150? Didn't you see the announcement? Tang Yan said, The announcement said that because of the special circumstances, an extra 50 people were chosen. So it's like that. Now everyone can draw your lot. The teacher waved his hand, and a box appeared in front of him. He placed 10 slips of paper inside, and then let the 10 people go up and draw. When the 10 people were done, he placed another 10 slips of paper inside, and let the next group of people draw. Yue and the rest were in the top 50, so they didn't have to participate in the preliminary round. They just had to sit on the stage and watch. 1,000 students, 500 pairs, 5 arenas. On average, one arena had to go through 100 battles. This was only the first round. The second round, 250 pairs, one arena had 50 pairs. The third round, 125 pairs, one arena had 25 pairs. Sima Yue and the rest watched from the spectators' stand. From time to time, they would judge who was good and who was bad. As expected of the academy's students, each and every one of them has great battle prowess. Fatty Chu sighed. Even if they are of the same level, the difference in battle prowess is like heaven and earth. Sima Yue said. That's why battle experience is very important. That's right. We've all walked step by step to where we are now. We've also experienced many battles. Our battle prowess is better than the others. Sima Yulin said. Sima Yue listened to their conversation. Suddenly, her eyes flashed and she said to them, You guys continue watching. I have something to do, so I'll leave first. Yue, where are you going? Someone is looking for me outside. Sima Yue said, Little Seven, come with me. Little Seven is going to. Chapter 856. Mobile Reading. Little Seven jumped down from her seat and held her hand, saying, Are you leaving the academy? I'm going out to settle some matters, and I want you to come with me. Please search product #book web to see the most complete. Sima Yue said. Weren't you doing fine just now? Why do you have to leave all of a sudden? Tang Yin said. Why don't you bring me along? You're not as cute as Little Seven and you're not as powerful as Little Seven. Why would I bring you along? Sima Yue bluntly attacked this clingy and narcissistic guy. After speaking, she didn't look at his bitter face and left with Little Seven. Big Wei and Little Wei saw her and wondered why she didn't take part in the billboard competition and let her out after asking about the situation. Once they were out of the outer courtyard, Little Seven asked, Is that Shi Qianji? Yes, he's here. He went to Memory Restaurant to look for us. Sima Yue said. Also, someone from Divine Devil Valley sent me a message saying that there's news about senior brother. Then should we go to Divine Devil Valley's shop first or go to Memory Restaurant to look for Shi Qianji and see what kind of person he brought? Little Seven asked. Let's go look for Shi Qianji first. Sima Yue said. Let's see what's going on with him. All right. The two of them went to Memory Restaurant directly. The shopkeeper of Memory Restaurant saw her and quickly welcomed her. Which room is Shi Qianji staying in? Sima Yue asked. Yuhua Restaurant's third floor, Heaven Room. The shopkeeper replied. He said that he's been waiting for you here. If you're here, go look for him directly. I got it. Go ahead. Sima Yue said to the shopkeeper. She led Little Seven to Yuhua Restaurant and came to the room at the end of the third floor. Before she knocked, the door opened from the inside. You're here pretty quickly. Shi Qianji's voice came from inside. Close the door when you enter. Sima Yue and Little Seven went in and saw that the originally spacious and bright room had been renovated. Black cloth was hung on all the windows, as well as the doorway from the inner room to the outer room. The whole room looked dark. Why did you make the room look like this? Sima Yue asked curiously. You will know when you come in. Shi Qianji's voice came from the inner room. Sima Yue and Little Seven looked at each other and walked into the house at the same time. Pulling back the black cloth, they saw an unforgettable scene. A huge black cloth was wrapped around the room, 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. Not a single ray of light could penetrate the room. A small person whose entire body was festering and whose facial features were almost unrecognizable was lying on the bed, screaming in pain from time to time. Shi Qianji sat on a stool at the side and looked at the person on the bed. His eyes were filled with pain. Is this the person you want to save? Sima Yue walked over and asked. Don't you find it disgusting and scary? Shi Qianji raised his head. Sima Yue shook her head. For someone who has even seen death, they won't find anything scary. What's more, such a small person will only feel pity for her. This way, I won't feel disgusted. Shi Qianji did not expect to hear such an answer. He was stunned for a moment before saying, You are just like what he said, very special. This he was naturally referring to Jiang Junxian. Who is she? How did this happen? This is my junior sister Shi Shuang. She was originally cute and fresh, not much different from a normal person. Shi Qianji said. Then how did she become like this? Little Seven asked. She went to a place. I don't know what she experienced there. When she came back, her body started to shrink and she slowly turned into a child. Shi Qianji said. Our poison masters thought of many ways to help her, but they could not stop her condition. In recent years, her body started to fester quickly, and she became like this. She's not a child. Little Seven thought that since she looked the same age as her, she should be around the same age. No. Shi Qianji shook his head. She is slightly older than Jun Xian. Then she should be a normal person? Sima Yue said. Yes. I'm more curious about her identity. Who is she to be able to make an inner circle assassin force give up on snatching Little Seven, and even be willing to protect my safety? Sima Yue asked. If I don't clarify this, I'm afraid I'll be cheated. Shi Qianji looked at her speechlessly. Was there anyone more straightforward than her? She is Master's only daughter. Since she was young, she has been his treasure. She would melt in his mouth and fall in his hands. In my master's eyes, Little Seven is not as important as her. Shi Qianji saw that Sima Yue still did not understand and added, My master is our palace master. Did your poison masters follow her? They went outside to look at the tarpaulin. Shi Qianji said, We have to ensure that the light does not shine in here. Once little junior sister comes in contact with light, her entire body will hurt. This is also the reason why I said that we can't bring her here. Let me check on her first. Sima Yue said. Be careful. Even a light touch will make her feel pain. Shi Qianji warned. And? I know. Sima Yue walked to the bedside. Seeing her in pain, she sighed. What a strong girl. Shi Qiushuang opened her eyes. She thought that she would see a pair of eyes filled with disgust. Other than her father and senior brother, the other people in the sect could not hide the disgust in their eyes even if they said that their young miss was pitiful. But in this pair of eyes she only saw sympathy and focus. She did not hate her, nor did she pity her. Sima Yue suddenly saw the pair of eyes filled with hostility. She was stunned for a moment before saying, Miss Shi, I want to check on you. You are a doctor? Shi Qiushuang's voice was hoarse. Yes. I studied at the Heavenly Sect for a few years. Sima Yue replied. Even the poison masters can't do anything. He can't, but that doesn't mean I can't either. Sima Yue said. Of course, we will only know after checking on your body. I want to see what method it is that requires Little Seven to be the primer. She thought of something and turned to look at Shi Qianji. Didn't you say that Little Seven could save her? Why did you say there's no way? He said that with Little Seven, little junior sister's pain can be lessened. Shi Qianji said. Sima Yue then turned around and said, Let me check your pulse first. Shi Qiushuang stretched out her right hand. There was not an inch of undamaged skin on her hand. Almost every part of her hand was festering, and some parts even had pus flowing out. But Sima Yue acted as if she did not see it. She casually placed her hand on her hand. She could not help but take a deep breath from the pain. I have to check on you. If not, I won't know your condition and won't be able to treat it. It hurts a little, bear with it. Seeing her small body, Yue subconsciously treated her as a child. Chapter 857. What a warm voice. Shi Qiushuang nodded. Her face that could not be seen twisted in pain, but she did not make another sound. Please search. To see the most complete. Update the fastest. Shi Qianji's heart ached when he saw her like this. Little junior sister, hold on a little longer. Shi Qiushuang looked up at him, and the hostility in her eyes dissipated a little. Shi Qianji wanted to urge Yue to hurry up, but when he saw her frown, he swallowed his words. After a while, she retracted her hand. How is it? Little Seven asked before Shi Qianji. The situation is a little complicated. I'll tell you later. Sima Yue came to the middle of the room, and took out a pill furnace and a table. She then took out some herbs, and started to refine the pill. Shi Qianji watched as she began to refine pills in front of everyone. He thought about how the alchemists in the sect did not allow others to watch, and his impression of her changed. After half a day, Sima Yue finally refined a cauldron of pills. She placed the 4 pills into a jade bottle, and fed the remaining 1 to Shi Qiushuang. This medicinal pill can make your body temporarily lose consciousness. You won't feel pain when you touch it, and you won't have to hide from the sun. She said after feeding her the medicinal pill. Is it really possible? Shi Qiushuang looked at her in surprise. There was the joy of not being tortured in her eyes, but there was also too much disbelief. Ever since she became like this, she had never seen the sun again. No, it wasn't just sunlight. She hadn't even seen light before. Every day, she was in a completely enclosed room, facing the darkness. She had almost forgotten the taste of sunlight. Of course, you can try if you don't believe me. Sima Yue said, wait a few minutes, you'll be fine after taking the pill. Senior brother. Shi Qiushuang looked at Shi Qianji with joy. Junxian is right, isn't he? This junior brother of his is very capable. Maybe it can really cure your illness. Shi Qianji said. And Shi Qiushuang nodded hopefully. Sima Yue went to clean up the table. When she was done, it was almost time. Let's give it a try. Sima Yue said. Does it feel better now? I don't feel anything. Shi Qiushuang said. Her body didn't hurt as much, so she trusted Yue's words more. She also looked forward to seeing the sun more. Then let's give it a try. Sima Yue said. I'll touch your body now. Feel it first. If it's good, we'll open the window. Let me do it, Shi Qianji said. He sat down by the bed and reached out to touch her hand, asking, how is it? Does it hurt? I don't feel anything, Shi Qiushuang said emotionally. What about here? Shi Qianji touched other places. I don't feel anything. It doesn't hurt anymore. It really doesn't hurt anymore. Shi Qiushuang's tears fell, mixing with the pus and blood on her face. It was very frightening. Hiss. While the two of them were excited, little Seven tore the black cloth off the window. The strong light shone in and Sima Yue immediately covered Shi Qiushuang's eyes. What's wrong? Shi Qianji and little Seven looked at her strangely. Miss Shi hasn't seen the sun for so many years. Your eyes have adapted to the darkness. If you see the sun all of a sudden, your eyes will be hurt. If it's serious, you won't be able to see for the rest of your life. Sima Yue said. I didn't know there was such a thing. Little Seven stuck out her tongue. She only wanted to see if Yue's pill was so miraculous that it could stop the pain. Miss Shi, I'll let go of you. Close your eyes. Sima Yue said. Okay. Shi Qiushuang heard that she might not be able to see, and was so frightened that she stopped moving. It wasn't easy for her to see the sun. She didn't want to be in the darkness forever. Sima Yue let go of her eyes and took out a piece of black cloth to cover her eyes, saying, take it off when your eyes get used to the light. Okay. Shi Qiushuang replied. She was still excited from seeing the light. Little Seven, take off all the black cloth. Sima Yue said. Okay. Little Seven skipped and ran to take off all the black cloth in the house. The house was lit up in an instant. How's my junior sister's condition? Can she be cured? Shi Qianji asked. It's a little troublesome. Sima Yue said. Miss Shi is poisoned, right? I heard that you went to a place and became like this when you came back. I want to know where it is, and what are the characteristics of that place. I want to know what the general environment is like. I went to Devil Cave last time, Shi Qiushuang said. Devil Cave? How did you go to Devil Cave? Shi Qianji asked in surprise. It's actually Devil Cave. Sima Yue was also very surprised when she heard about this place. Devil Cave, Heartbreak Valley and Thousand Poison Ridge were known as the continent's 3 most poisonous places. Thousand Poison Ridge was ranked first in the inner region. Very few people went there. Devil Cave was ranked second in the middle region. Heartbreak Valley was ranked third, also in the middle region. Heartbreak Valley was also the place where Shi and Feng are separated. Very few people went to these 3 places usually. Ordinary people would be seeking death if they went there. Heartbreak Valley was a little better. If one had the antidote, one could get closer. The other 2 places were said to have the antidote. One would die if one entered. Junior sister, how did you go there? Was it because of that bastard? Shi Qianji asked angrily. Senior brother, don't ask anymore. Shi Qiushuang said. I don't want to talk about what happened that year. Otherwise, I would have told you all for so many years. Although she couldn't see the expression on her face and couldn't see the sadness in her eyes, Sima Yue could still feel the deep pain in her body. Shi Qianji grew up with her. How could he not understand her? Seeing her like this, he didn't ask anymore and said, we'll talk about this when you're better. Then he looked at Sima Yue and asked. She went to Devil Cave. Is this useful to you? It's useful, Sima Yue said. I still have to study her situation. After all, it's so big. Miss Sure, you can tell me what happened inside. I might be able to find the reason faster. What if you can't find the reason? Will you not be able to treat it? Little Seven came over and asked. Shi Qianji and Shi Qiushuang's hearts were hanging as they waited for her answer. It won't, Sima Yue said. It'll just take a little longer. As long as it can be treated, a little more time is fine. Shi Qiushuang said. It seemed like she didn't want to talk about what happened back then. Since Miss Sure is willing to wait, it's fine if you don't say it. Sima Yue didn't force it. But I'll say it first. There are only 5 pills. 1 pill can last for 3 days. After half a month, this pill won't have any effect on you. If I find the reason myself, it'll take at least 1 or 2 months. You have to think carefully. Chapter 858. Shi Qiushuang was silent for a while before saying, Anyway, it's been hurting for so many years. 2 more months won't matter. All right. Sima Yue did not insist. I'll try my best to find a cure for you. Little Seven suddenly thought of something and grabbed her clothes, nervously saying, Are you really going to eat my meat? No, it has nothing to do with you. Sima Yue patted her head and comforted her. But didn't their poison masters say that they needed my flesh? Little Seven asked. Speaking of your poison master, where is he? Sima Yue looked out of the window. Didn't you say that he was outside to prevent anyone from tearing the black cloth? Why is he nowhere to be seen even after the black cloth has been removed? Shi Qianji also felt that it was a little strange. He was too excited earlier and forgot about the existence of the poison master. Now that he thought about it, something didn't seem right. Men, he called out, and a man in black immediately appeared in the room. Sir Divine Envoy. That person bowed toward Shi Qianji. Where is Poison Master? Shi Qianji asked. After Lord Poison Master left the inn, no one knows where he went. The man in black replied. He left the inn? Shi Qianji asked. Yes. When did they leave? Shi Qianji asked again. Since he left the house, said the man in black. I know. You can leave. Shi Qianji waved his hand at him. The black-robed man's silhouette flashed and disappeared from the room. It seems that your poison master is not completely under your control, Sima Yue said as she crossed her arms. Shi Qianji was also very suspicious about the poison master's whereabouts, but now that he wasn't here, he couldn't say anything. Does he have anything to do with your treatment? It has nothing to do with my treatment, but I want to meet the person who wants Little Seven, Sima Yue said. Then I'll definitely let you meet him later. But now, you should think about what to do about Junior Sister's situation. I can't figure out her situation for the time being. I have to go back and do some research. Sima Yue said. I still have something to do today. I'll come back when I find something. You want to go back? Shi Qianji thought that she would stay here until his junior sister was cured. I'm a student now, so of course I have to return to the academy, Sima Yue said. Moreover, you should have heard of the heavenly sex ranking, right? Eldest senior brother should have told you about it. It's time for the competition, and I still have to go back to participate in it. Oh, okay. Then you have to come earlier. Shi Qianji took out a mother-son stone and said, Take this. It'll be convenient for me to find you when the time comes. Okay. Sima Yue kept the mother-son stone and brought Little Seven out. Qianji, we can't let them leave. An honest and low voice sounded from outside the door. A man in a black robe walked in. Shi Qianji looked at the person who came in and frowned. He asked, Where did you go? Didn't you say you were guarding outside? Lei Tianquan ignored his question and repeated, Qianji, this is a rare opportunity. You can't let them leave. You're the one that the poison master said only I could save her. Little Seven looked at Lei Tianquan and became angry. This is the Earth's eye. Lei Tianquan looked at Little Seven and his eyes lit up. He couldn't hide the fire in his eyes. You old fart, you just want to eat me, right? Little Seven looked at him angrily. She raised her fist and was about to beat him up when Sima Yue pulled her back. Young Master Sure, young Miss Sure, we still have something to do, so we'll leave first. Yue nodded to the two and led little Seven out. Stop right there. Lei Tianquan shouted. Don't tell me you want to obediently stay here after coming here? Sima Yue's face darkened. What do you mean by that? You want to force us to stay? You can leave, but the Earth's Eye must stay, Lei Tianquan said. She's the antidote for young Mississippi. Bullshit. Little Seven immediately cursed. You already said that this has nothing to do with me. I'm of no use to her illness. Keep trying to trick me. Do you believe that I won't kill you with one punch? Sima Yue wasn't in a rush. She looked at Shi Qianji and said, What do you say? Let them leave. Shi Qianji ordered Lei Tianquan, indirectly expressing his attitude. Qianji, you don't want to save young miss? Lei Tianquan looked at him in shock. Don't forget how much effort the sect put in to obtain the Earth's Eye. Now that it's right in front of us, are you going to give it up? Shi Qianji looked at him and said, Do you really want to save Junior Sister, or do you want to satisfy some other goal? Of course I want to save young Mississippi. I've been the one keeping young Miss alive for so many years. Of course I want her to get better. But you haven't done anything. Shi Qianji said. Junior Sister has been in pain for so many years, but you haven't even thought of leaving to relieve the pain. Is it because you don't want to or because you can't? Qianji, now isn't the time to talk about this. However, we should capture them and treat young Mississippi, Lei Tianquan said. Do you really care about young Miss Sure? Sima Yue sneered from the side. If you really care about her, why haven't you noticed that the room has changed after so long? If you care about her that much, shouldn't you be worried about her being shined on by the light? But you have to be careful. Ever since you came in, you've been on little Seven's body. Sima Yue interrupted him. I don't think young Miss Sure wants to use the Earth's Eye. You're the one who's coveting her, right? When Shi Qianji heard Yue's words, his face darkened. She was right. Lei Tianquan hadn't even looked at Junior Sister after coming in, much less cared about her situation. Lei Tianquan, is that true? Shi Qianji, we're from the same sect. You'd rather believe her than me. Lei Tianquan loudly shouted. Believe you? When have I ever believed you? If Master hadn't told you to come, would I have let you come? Shi Qianji said. Actually, it's useless for you to come. You're just giving Master face. Shi Qianji, I'm your senior. What use is there for me to be a senior? You still can't cure Junior Sister. On the other hand, Yue, you've only diagnosed Junior Sister once, and you've already given her a pain-relieving pill. Compared to you, you're really useless. Shi Qianji said without any trace of politeness. You. Lei Tianquan was angered to the point of vomiting blood. He then coldly snorted and said, If we don't leave the Earth's Eye behind today, none of you will be able to leave. Chapter 859. Sima Yue and Shi Qianji could not help but frown at the blatant threat. Lei Tianquan, what are you trying to do? Shi Qianji said furiously. I'm not doing anything. I'm just doing something you don't want to do. Lei Tianquan said. I don't know what method you used to convince the Hall Master to give up on the Earth's Eye, but the Eye of the Earth is very important to us. You can't let all our efforts go down the drain because of your own selfish desires. I said let them go. Shi Qianji said with a cold face. I am the divine envoy. Even if you have been in the sect longer than me, you still have to listen to me now. Ha 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 ha. Lei Tianquan threw his head back and laughed. Listen to you? Do you think that just because you are a God's messenger, you can order us, the older generation? To put it nicely, everyone calls you Sir Divine Envoy, because of your relationship with the Temple Master. We're giving you some face. Are you really using a chicken feather as a token of authority? You're thinking too much. In our eyes, you're just a child who hasn't grown up. Humph, stop trying to confuse the public. The treatment of the Eye of the Earth was agreed upon by everyone, not by me alone. And you are the one who went against everyone's decision. Shi Qianji said. The righteousness you speak of is just your own selfishness. Little Seven heard their conversation from the side and said impatiently, "Are you two done yet? You, let's go and ignore them. Whoever dares to stop us, I'll treat them to a punch." With that, she pulled Yu out of the room. "You're not allowed to leave." Lei Tianquan waved his hand and sent out a stream of spiritual energy. "Peak monarch rank," Sima Yue exclaimed when she sensed Lei Tianquan's strength. "Inf." Little Seven stood in front of Sima Yue and punched Lei Tianquan's spirit energy, scattering it. "Ouch! It hurts. It hurts." Little Seven swung her hand, trying to relieve the pain. Lei Tianquan cultivated poison gas, so his spirit energy naturally contained poison gas as well, making him more powerful in battle. As a matter of fact, even Little Seven's powerful fists were no match for his poison gas. Lei Tianquan already knew that Little Seven's battle prowess was very strong, which was why he added poison into his spirit energy. However, he didn't think that this wouldn't be enough to subdue her, and only made her fist turn red. Since his first attack was unsuccessful, he immediately launched a second attack, but it was scattered by the sudden appearance of the black-clothed man. That black-clothed man wasn't the one who had come out earlier, but he was very strong. After scattering Lei Tianquan's attack, he was still fine. It seemed like they had some understanding of him and knew that his attack was poisonous, so they made preparations in advance. When Lei Tianquan saw the black man, his expression turned ugly as he said, "He's from the Bat team." "Shiqianji, do you really want to oppose me? It's not me going against you, it's you going against the sect," Shiqianji said. "You disobeyed Master's orders, so I can mobilize the Bat squad to deal with you. Although your strength is not bad, you have just advanced and are still not his match. I advise you to give up your ambitions and follow me back to receive your punishment." "Go back." "No, I don't plan to go back, and it's impossible for me to go back," Lei Tianquan said. "From the moment I took that step, I can't go back." His voice was a little sad at first, but that was only for a moment. That bit of sadness was quickly replaced by passion. That was the kind of passion for obtaining a peerless treasure that couldn't be concealed. "As long as I obtain the Eye of the Earth, even if I don't go back, the entire continent won't let me go." "Ha ha ha ha. Good thinking, but it's a pity that it's just a fantasy. You'll never be able to realize it." Little Seven snorted. "I already knew that you wouldn't give in so easily, so I've already made preparations." Lei Tianquan didn't plan to continue fighting, so he turned and jumped out of the window. "He ran away? That guy didn't even fight. Why did he run away?" Little Seven shouted. "I'll chase after him. Since he dares to have any ideas about me, when I catch him, I'll beat him to death." Little Seven wanted to chase after him after speaking, but she was caught before she could move. "He should have set up a trap outside. Even if you go out now, you won't be able to catch him," Sima Yue said. "But that guy wants to catch me. If I don't take revenge, I won't feel good," Little Seven said unhappily. "Don't worry. Without getting you, he won't run away," Sima Yue said confidently. "He should have left to set up a trap. He should be trying to lure us out now. If we don't go out, will he be angered to death?" Little Seven asked. "I don't know if he'll be angered to death, but we have to leave this place," Sima Yue said. "Don't forget that we still have something to settle." She was referring to the Divine Devil Valley. "You guys wait here first," Shiqianji said to the two of them, then instructed the Bat team. "You guys go out and take a look." The black-robed man flashed out of the window, and soon, there were sounds of fighting outside. "He actually set up an array to trap us in this inn," Sima Yue came to the bedside and said when she saw the situation outside. Little Seven also came to her window and saw the two black-robed men fighting in the air, saying, "He's fighting with himself." "This should be a combination of predicament and illusion," Sima Yue said. "In this kind of array, you will meet someone who is similar to you. The stronger you are, the stronger your opponent will be. The only way is to fight with the other you for a while. Once you defeat him, you can go out." "Fight with himself? How can he defeat him? How can he break the array?" "Go out and settle the score with that person," Little Seven said in shock. "So you have to be stronger than your normal self. Only then can you win, Sima Yue said. And even if you win, both of you will be injured and your spiritual energy will be exhausted. Once you go out, you will be killed by him. This is a little difficult. Do you have any other ideas? Shi Qianji asked. Yes, break the array, Sima Yue said. Use the usual method to break the array and break the array. Then I can only leave this to you. Little Seven raised her head and looked at her. I will do my best, Sima Yue said. But you have to guarantee that you will give me a safe environment. How can you guarantee that? Shi Qianji asked. It's very simple. I have to go outside the inn to break the array. If I am attacked, I will naturally not be able to think of a way to break it. So I will have to trouble you to lure my opponent over. Sima Yue smiled as she looked at him. Shi Qianji saw that there was no worry in her eyes and felt that she was tricking him. But he had no choice. Who asked him to not know how to break the array? But he forgot that his opponent was about the same level as him. If there was one more, would he be able to handle it? Chapter 860. When Shi Qianji gritted his teeth and swallowed the pill, he realized that a person's potential was limitless. If you don't break this formation, I'm going to be split in half, he complained to a certain someone who was leisurely walking in the distance. Sima Yue looked at him and said, You haven't been split in half yet, have you? Just a little bit more. You didn't see it, but those two people's swords were almost on my head, just a centimeter away. Do you know 1 centimeter? Shi Qianji roared. I don't know, Sima Yue answered honestly. Shi Qianji looked at her speechlessly. She really dared to say such words. Originally, I thought that your level wasn't high, so the opponents you created wouldn't be strong either. I didn't expect you to be so strong. I had to deal with both myself and you. I almost lost my life several times. Oh my God. What are you made of? How can you be so strong? I will do whatever you do. Sima Yue kept the array stone in her hand and said, Have your people chased after them? He chased after them, Shi Qianji said. He was stunned for a moment and asked, How did you know that I still have people? Do you even need to guess? Sima Yue gave him a silly look. The corner of Shi Qianji's mouth twitched. It seemed that Jiang Junxian had never told him that this guy had a poisonous tongue. I think you should know what to do after you catch him, right? Sima Yue ignored him. I don't want the news about Little Seven to spread. If you can't control his mouth, I'll find a way to make him unable to open his mouth forever. I've already made him unable to open his mouth. Little Seven suddenly appeared on the roof of the courtyard and looked down at the two people below. Little Seven, come down. Sima Yue waved her hand. Little Seven flew down, and a faint smell of blood came from her body. You killed him? That's right. What's the point of keeping people who want to kill us alive? Little Seven said. I wasn't careful just now and let him escape. Otherwise, I would have killed him with 1 punch. You killed him with 1 punch? Shi Qianji looked at her in surprise. He's a peak monarch ranked expert. So what if he's a peak monarch? I still killed him. Humph. Little Seven said disdainfully. Shi Qianji frowned slightly. He knew that Little Seven was strong to kill Lei Tianquan with 1 punch, but he didn't expect her to be this strong. Even if it was his people, it would be impossible. Yoyuaz's was to kill Little Seven to die to kills die. Little Seven used her fist to kill Lei Tianquan. Her fist pierced through his heart, and was stained with his poisonous blood. Her little hand was bright red. After applying the medicine, Yu nodded at him, and left with Little Seven. As soon as they left, a black-clothed man appeared on the roof with Lei Tianquan's corpse and looked at Shi Qianji. Yu. The man in black accepted the order, and left with Lei Tianquan's corpse. He sighed. This matter wasn't easy to deal with. Entering the room, he saw Shi Shuang lying on the bed. Although her body was still the same, he could tell that her spirit was much better. Little junior sister, how are you feeling now? Great. I haven't seen the sun for so long, and I finally see it today. Shi Shuang was in a good mood, although outsiders couldn't see it. He's dead? Shi Qianji sat beside the bed. Father always relied on him. Now that he's dead, I'm afraid it won't be easy to deal with him. That might not be the case, Shi Qianji said. Master relied on him because he was always treating you. Although it didn't have much effect, it did save your life. If your body recovers, he won't be that useful anymore. Although he had a high position, he wasn't irreplaceable. The poison medicine hall that he was in charge of would have a lot of trouble in the future, Shi Qiushuang said. The poison medicine hall is very important in the sect. With his death, the next hall master will be fought to the death. If master comes back, he might be able to take over. Shi Qianji was worried. But your master has been traveling for so many years without any news. I'm afraid he won't be back anytime soon, Shi Qiushuang said. I see that your poison techniques have already surpassed your master. Father also said to let you take over. Why don't you take over? Don't. I only like to research poison. I don't want to do those useless things. Shi Qianji quickly rejected. He didn't want to do such things. You always have this reaction every time I say this. I see that there are so many divine envoys in the sect, but you're just a bystander. This is great. You have freedom and can do what you like. Doing those things is too tiring. Alright, you're more comfortable now. You should rest well. I'll go deal with this first. Go ahead. I want to see the sun again, Shi Qiushuang said. Call me if you need anything. He left the room and sighed. He resigned himself to his fate and went to deal with the matter. Sima Yue and the rest came out of the courtyard. They saw that Memory Restaurant was in a mess. There were traces of a fight everywhere. Young master, are you all right? The shopkeeper was instructing people to clean up and apologize. When he saw Sima Yue coming out, he bowed to her. I'm all right. I still have something to do. I'll leave first. Appease the customers for what happened today, Sima Yue said. Yes, young master. She brought little Seven to the Divine Devil Valley's shop. When they entered, the shop assistants were excited. They wanted to bow to her, but were stopped by her gaze. May I ask, is your shopkeeper around? She asked Shi Xiao. Yes, the shopkeeper is in the backyard. He has been waiting for you. Customers, please follow me. Shi Xiao brought the two of them to the backyard. The shopkeeper was already waiting at the entrance of the courtyard. When he saw her, he bowed and greeted, Junior Valley Master. Forget it. Sima Yue waved her hand and said, You sent a message saying that there's news about senior brother. How is he now? Yes, there's news from the valley. There's news about young Master Wu. Junior Valley Master, please take a look. The shopkeeper took out a piece of paper. Sima Yue took it and quickly skimmed through it. The letter said that Wu Lingyu had been in closed-door cultivation. He had come out in the past few days. It was said that he was even stronger. Because he was in closed-door cultivation, they didn't have any news about him. So he was just in closed-door cultivation. It's good that senior brother is fine. As long as he wasn't taken over by that old fart from the Sage Pavilion. There's news from the valley today. It says that young Master Wu will bring people from the Sage Pavilion to the pill competition. Pill competition? Yes. Will the valley participate? Sima Yue asked. Yes, every time there's a pill competition or array competition, the valley will receive an invitation, the shopkeeper said. I know. She nodded. It's still a long time before the pill competition. She touched the devil snare bracelet. She didn't know how the guy was doing inside. Chapter 861. Junior Valley Master? Junior Valley Master? The shopkeeper saw that Sima Yue was in a daze and did not hear what he said. What's wrong? Sima Yue asked. I was just saying, should we reply to the people in the valley? The great valley lord said that you should go to the valley whenever you have time. The shopkeeper said. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, Okay, I'll write a letter. Get someone to bring it back. Yes. Sima Yue explained the situation in the letter, and also mentioned that she was going to participate in the elixir competition. Are we going back now? When she finished writing the letter and left the shop, it was already dark outside. Let's go back. Sima Yue said. I wonder how the competition went today. I don't think so, Little Seven said disdainfully. It's just a bunch of kids playing house. What's there to see? It's nothing for you, but it's different for the students. Sima Yue said. The higher the ranking, the more resources they can get, and the stronger they can become. You might think it's not important, but to them, it's something that could affect their lives. All right. Little Seven had never thought about this problem. Hearing her say this, it seemed to be the case. Let's go back. Sima Yue patted her head and smiled. By the time they returned to the academy, the day's competition had already ended. Sima Yue contacted Sima Yuming and the others before returning to the parting garden directly. After that, Sima Yue didn't watch their matches. Instead, she went into her spirit pagoda to study Shi Qiushuang's situation. Almost all of her blood was highly toxic. All kinds of toxins fused together and became sticky. It was very difficult for Shi Qiushuang to circulate in her body. Sigh. Sima Yue could not help but sigh as she looked at the bowl of sticky blood. The 2 months she told them was the time outside. 2 months in the real world wasn't enough for her research, so she could only make use of the time difference in the spirit pagoda. You do your best. Linglong appeared beside her. Her small body floated in the air, her small fists clenched together as she cheered for her. Sai Yu, you've been so busy recently. You don't even have time to play with us. Little Roar was lying on the table with his forelegs facing the sky as he complained. Sima Yue poked its head and said, You only know how to play. Can't you see that I've been so busy lately? I know. That's why I've been very obedient recently. I didn't go out and cause trouble for you. Little Roar said. So you still know that you're a troublemaker. Thousand Resonance appeared beside it, her claws pressing against its stomach as she spoke in disdain. Stop pressing. If you continue pressing, I'm going to vomit out what I just ate. Little Roar shouted. His little claws wanted to slap Thousand Resonance, but he realized that it was useless. He couldn't even reach his claws. His comical appearance made everyone laugh. Sima Yue was also amused. Seeing that Thousand Resonance still had furry claws while Little Rock and Chongming were in human form, she said, Thousand Resonance, Yiguang, I'll bring you guys out to transform. They never thought that Sima Yue would suddenly do something like this. The two beasts were a little surprised. You're so busy. It doesn't matter if we transform a little later. Thousand Resonance said. That's right, that's right. We're not in a hurry. You should busy yourself first. Yiguang also said. It's fine. I won't be able to finish this in such a short period of time. Sima Yue said. Let's go. I'll transform all of you together today. Yay. Little Roar happily waved his claws. Why are you so excited? You're not transforming. Sima Yue said as she poked his round stomach. I'm not transforming, but I can watch them get struck by lightning. Little Roar said. This is something that makes people happy. But why can't you transform? Yiguang asked curiously. My soul is injured. It's not completely healed yet, so I can't transform now. Little Roar sighed. If I were to transform, I would definitely be a handsome man with a graceful and elegant demeanor. You're so narcissistic. Sima Yue said disdainfully. However, she still carried him. I think that if you transform, you'll most likely be big and ugly. Because of her, his soul was injured. This had always been her heartache. How can that be? I'm so handsome. If I transform, I'll definitely charm a bunch of beauties. Little Roar moved around in Yoyue's embrace and found a comfortable position. Whether it's true or not, we'll know when you transform. Little Rock said. I still don't believe it. Scarlet Queenbee added. Maybe there'll be a miracle. Thousand Resonance added. No matter what, I think that he'll feel that he's very handsome. Little Dream said with a smile. Right, Little Roar? I'm ignoring you guys. Little Roar didn't care about them. In his heart, he firmly believed that he would become a handsome young man. These guys were laughing at him because they were jealous of him. Yes, that was it. Everyone quickly understood his thoughts and laughed silently. This little tsundere. Let's go, I'll bring you guys to transform. Sima Yue carried Little Roar out. Su Xiao was cleaning the courtyard. When he saw Sima Yue coming out, he asked, Little junior brother, you're going out? Yes. Sima Yue said. My beasts haven't transformed yet. I want to bring them to transform. You're going to be struck by lightning. Han Miao Shuang stuck her head out from upstairs. I haven't seen spirit beasts struck by lightning for a long time. Bring me along. All right. Since you're familiar with the back mountain, you can find me a remote place. Sima Yue said. No problem. I'm familiar with the back mountain. Xiao Xiao, let's go together. Don't sweep the courtyard all day. Master will scold you when he comes back. Let's go and take a look at little junior brother's spirit beasts. Han Miaoshuang said. Su Xiao Xiao wasn't interested at first, but when he heard the last sentence he was moved. Let's go. The three of them went to the back mountain. After flying for half a day, they still couldn't fly out of the mountain range. However, they were far enough from the intersect. When the lightning struck, it wouldn't alarm the people who were watching the competition. Let's do it here. This area is remote enough. Han Miaoshuang said. Sima Yue sensed for a while. There weren't any powerful spirit beasts nearby. The three of them landed on a mountain top. Do we need to make some preparations? Su Xiao Xiao asked. No need. Sima Yue said. We can get through it. You don't need arrays, pills and spirit tools? No need. Sima Yue said. You guys can come out. She waved her hand and all the contracted beasts except for Little Dream came out. Han Miaoshuang and the others saw that she had so many contracted beasts. Little junior brother, are they all going to transform? Sima Yue shook her head. No. The two of them heaved a sigh of relief. It was terrifying for one person to have so many transformed beasts. Little Rock and Chongming have already transformed. They won't be participating. The rest are the ones who will transform today. Chapter 862. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiao Xiao had yet to recover from the shock when they heard her say to her contracted beasts, It's too troublesome to do it one by one, let's do it together. Wait. Han Miaoshuang pulled Sima Yue's hand and stopped him. Little junior brother, do you know that if they all transform at the same time, the transformation lightning tribulation will become even bigger? I know, Sima Yue said. Then why did you let them be together? It's all right, senior sister. Sima Yue smiled and said, You don't have to worry about this lightning tribulation. When the lightning tribulation comes, I can go and reminisce with it. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiao Xiao took her words as a joke. Later on, they found out that she really wanted to reminisce. They still wanted to persuade her. After all, the transformation lightning tribulation was extremely important to a spirit beast. It was also very difficult to pass through. Countless sacred beasts had died because of it. However, seeing that Sima Yue was not worried at all, they did not say anything more. At the same time, a trace of anticipation appeared in his heart. Senior brother and senior sister, you guys have to stand further away. Don't get involved. Sima Yue said. 1,000 resonance, Yaguang little bee little blossom. Go and prepare. Yes, Yu. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiao Xiao quickly flew away. They didn't want to be involved in the lightning tribulation. They also didn't want 1,000 resonance and the others to encounter a greater lightning tribulation, because of one more person. As the spirit beasts touched the taboo of transformation, the tribulation clouds began to condense in the sky. Soon enough, dark clouds covered the sky above their heads. Because the four spirit beasts were going through the tribulation together, the difficulty of the lightning tribulation was definitely not as simple as 1 + 1. In a short while, the place had become a black mass. This commotion was felt by all the teachers in the inner court. What happened? Fan Lei asked with a frown. There seems to be some movement at the back of the mountain. Mao Sanquan looked at the sky. Do you want to go over and take a look? Fan Lei looked at the students competing in the ring and nodded. He instructed the teacher beside him. You guys stay here and watch. We'll go and see what's going on. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiao Xiao were shocked when they saw this. Is this still the shape-shifting thunder retribution? It was the first time Su Xiao Xiao had seen such a dark and thick thunder retribution. Damn this commotion. I'm afraid it will attract the academy's teachers over. Han Miaoshuang said. No, this isn't important. How are they going to survive such a huge tribulation without taking any measures? Look at junior brother. He's not nervous at all. He probably has a plan, Su Xiao said. I hope so. Han Miaoshuang was a little worried. With this commotion, I'm afraid the academy's teachers will arrive soon. Sure enough, Mao Sanquan and Fan Lei arrived before the lightning tribulation struck. Where is this? What's going on? Mao Sanquan came to their side and asked. It's junior brother's contracted beast that wants to transform. Han Miaoshuang said. A contracted beast transformation? Fan Lei frowned. How can a mere transformation tribulation have such an aura? If it was just one contract beast, it wouldn't be that bad. But junior brother has 4 contract beasts. They have to transform at the same time. Once the power is stacked, it's like this. Han Miaoshuang said helplessly. Transform at the same time? What is he trying to do? Didn't he think of the power? You're his senior brother and sister. Why didn't you advise him? We did, but junior brother said there was no problem. What nonsense! Where is he? Mao Sanquan asked. Han Miaoshuang pointed at the thick clouds and said, Before you came, he went inside. Went inside the tribulation clouds? This kid is really daring. I think junior brother should be fine, right? He wasn't worried at all. Su Xiao continued. If not, he wouldn't be so careless. This kid is doing such a dangerous thing again. I think he should be sent to the cliff of reflection to face the wall. If Mao Sanquan had a beard, he would be blowing it out of anger. What is he doing inside the tribulation clouds? Fan Lei asked. He said he's going to reminisce with the tribulation clouds. Sima Yue didn't expect the tribulation clouds to develop to such a state in such a short period of time. Small tribulation clouds? Small tribulation clouds? She went inside the tribulation clouds and called out. Why is it you again? Small tribulation clouds saw Sima Yue, and its eyes flashed with excitement. But it still pretended to be impatient. Sima Yue went forward and grabbed the transparent little rabbit-shaped cloud spirit in her hand and said, All right, small tribulation cloud. Your eyes have already betrayed you. Did you miss me? Why would I miss you? Small tribulation cloud released some lightning, but it didn't affect her at all. You really didn't miss me? Sima Yue laughed evilly. Then why are your eyes shining when you look at me? Whose eyes are shining? Small tribulation cloud denied it firmly. It wouldn't let this guy see through its thoughts. You didn't miss me? All right, then I'll go back. She said that, but she didn't put her down. How could small tribulation cloud understand the thoughts of humans? When it heard her say that, it thought she was really going to leave and admitted defeat. All right, I missed you. I just missed your wine. Do you still have the wine from last time? Sima Yue knew that this little guy was craving for her fruit wine. According to the speed at which small tribulation cloud drank, the wine she left for it wasn't enough at all. It must have been gone a long time ago. But she didn't attract the lightning tribulation recently, so it couldn't find her, and could only crave for it. Here for you. She took out a jar of fruit wine. Small tribulation cloud immediately broke free from her hand, and dived into the jar. Gulp gulp. The jar of wine was quickly emptied by it. How is it? Is the wine good this time? Sima Yue asked with a smile. Not bad, not bad. It doesn't taste the same as before, but it's still very good. Do you have more? Small tribulation cloud looked at her. Yes, I prepared a lot, Sima Yue said. But shouldn't you do some proper business first? Proper business? Small tribulation cloud thought for a moment. Oh right, your contracted beast is about to transform. But don't worry, there's still some time before the lightning strikes. I'll drink a jar first. After saying that, it dived back into the jar and started drinking again. Sima Yue saw the rabbit's tail sticking out of the jar and reached out to poke it. She said in a negotiating tone, Small tribulation cloud, let's discuss something. Gulp gulp gulp. Small tribulation cloud seemed to be replying to her, asking her what she wanted. Just as it was about to finish drinking, Yu grabbed it by the tail and pulled it out of the wine jar. She didn't even have the chance to speak before small tribulation cloud rejected her. No, I can't cheat. Chapter 863. You can't throw the game? No. The little tribulation cloud's attitude was firm. Then why did you go easy on me last time? Did I? The little tribulation cloud refused to admit it. Yes. You remembered wrongly. So you don't want to drink anymore? Sima Yue threatened. You're bad. The little tribulation cloud was threatened. It glared at her with its large eyes, looking extremely innocent. Am I bad or are you bad? Sima Yue flicked her forehead. You drank my wine and didn't do anything for me. Who are you calling bad? You. The little tribulation cloud didn't hesitate to accuse him. You bully. No, you're bullying the tribulation cloud. If there were tears in her eyes, they would have rolled down her cheeks by now. All right. I'm not bullying you. I'm just asking for your help. We are friends. Wouldn't it be easy for you to do something like this for a friend? Oomph. The little tribulation cloud tilted its head to the side. It was so angry that it refused to look at her. Alas! Sima Yue let out a long sigh. So you don't treat me as a friend. It's so sad. I've already treated you as a friend. I know that you like to drink fruit wine, so I specially brewed several flavors for you. I wanted to give them to you when we meet this time. It seems that I was thinking too much. There are many more flavors. The little tribulation cloud immediately turned its head, its eyes sparkling. So what if there is? You don't treat me as a friend. I can only give it to other friends. Sima Yue said sadly. Give it to me first, and I'll take you as my friend if you give it to me. The little tribulation cloud looked at her hurt expression and said, Clever little brat. Sima Yue snickered in her heart, but her face was full of grievance. Really? Of course I, Cloud Spirit, am a man of my word. What a man of his word. She didn't feel it at all. So you're called Cloud Spirit, Sima Yue said. I'm not a cloud spirit, I'm a cloud spirit, the little tribulation cloud emphasized. Isn't that the same thing? How is that the same thing? Cloud Soul isn't my name. I'm Cloud Soul, the little tribulation cloud emphasized. All right, where's the wine? Sima Yue saw how anxious she was and stopped teasing her. She took out 2 to 3 times more wine than the last time and a few bottles of pills and said, Keep it well. After this time, you'll have to wait until the next time. Seeing so much fruit wine, the cloud spirit was very excited. With a wave of its little paw, a dark cloud floated over and took away all the wine jars. Then, it said with satisfaction, The tribulation cloud has already formed. There's no way to change it. However, I can suppress this lightning. But how much water should he put in? It's a good thing for spirit beasts to go through the manifestation tribulation. Sima Yue smiled and said, Euler, you can do whatever you want. Just don't kill them. The 4 beasties who were about to transcend their tribulations almost vomited blood when they heard her words. What did he mean by it was fine as long as he didn't get struck to death? What if he was crippled? All right, it wasn't a big deal if he was crippled. Sima Yue wanted to help them before, but now that she had the cloud spirit's guarantee, she didn't have to go. Thus, she sat on the tribulation cloud with the cloud spirit, drinking fruit wine while watching Thousand Resonance and the rest get struck by lightning. What happened here naturally couldn't escape Fan Lei and the rest's divine senses. They didn't expect her to hook up with the tribulation cloud. With such a cheating tool, why would she need to worry about the lightning tribulation? No wonder she didn't even do any preparations. However, seeing the electric current flowing around her body, the 2 of them had doubts in their hearts. Such a strong electric current flowed through her body. How could she be completely fine? Do you still remember that I told you before that when we were in the dark forest, she was the one who attracted the lightning down? I think there should be something in her body that can attract the lightning tribulation. And that thing can make her immune to lightning. Fan Lei guessed boldly. Mao San Quan thought that this explanation was the most reasonable. Fan Lei's guess was mostly correct, but there was one thing that wasn't completely correct. That was that Yue wasn't immune to lightning. Instead, she absorbed all the lightning into her body. Purple top-grade sky lightning hissed as it absorbed the lightning. It was so happy that it wanted to die. This fellow had been too busy recently. It hadn't been struck by lightning for a long time, so it didn't have anything to eat. Sima Yue could clearly feel the happiness of the little ball in the lightning pool. Thinking about how it usually ignored her, she thought to herself that this fellow was really treating anyone as its mother. It didn't have any morals at all. Speaking of which, little tribulation cloud, you've existed on this continent for so long. The number of people you've struck is probably uncountable, right? Sima Yue asked. Yeah, little tribulation cloud said, but I can't remember those people, so I don't think I've struck that many people. The area you're in charge of is so big. There will definitely be situations where people need to undergo tribulation at the same time, right? Then what will you do? It's very simple. Little tribulation cloud said. I have so many clones. When I feel that someone is about to undergo tribulation, one of them will automatically come out and help that person undergo tribulation. Then how do you remember me? It didn't take long for this fellow to recognize her. Haha, isn't it because I'm unlucky? Every time you undergo tribulation, I'm the one who comes personally. Little tribulation cloud looked as if it regretted knowing her. Don't make such an expression. Sima Yue said. You've been a tribulation cloud for so many years, but you've never spoken to anyone. You've never made friends with anyone. Now that I'm with you, how great is that? Haha. Little tribulation cloud gave her a rabbit butt. However, although it didn't say anything, it still acknowledged her in its heart. Otherwise, it wouldn't be sitting here drinking and chatting with her. With the little tribulation cloud going easy on them, the four beasts' transformation lightning tribulation was very good. The strength of the lightning wasn't strong or weak. It was just enough to train their bodies, but it wouldn't take their lives. The time between the lightning strikes was long, giving them enough time to adjust their state. Even the last few bolts of lightning, which should have been more powerful, were a little weak. Under the little tribulation cloud's control, those few bolts of lightning didn't hurt them at all. I'm done. I'm leaving. Next time brew more for me. After Sima Yue heard it finish speaking, she felt as if a foot had kicked her. She flew down from the tribulation cloud. She landed on the ground and waved at the little tribulation cloud, saying, Little tribulation cloud, goodbye. I'll miss you. You have to miss me too. I won't miss you. Little tribulation cloud actually replied her. However, this reply seemed to be hiding something. Next time I'll prepare more wine for you. Little tribulation cloud paused, but still floated away. However, it definitely listened to Yue's words. Sima Yue sent the little tribulation cloud away before observing the beast situation. Chapter 864. At this moment, they were enveloped by the light of their transformations. They couldn't see what was happening inside, but they could feel that their auras were getting stronger and stronger. Copy URL access my weakness was healed in an instant. When the light dissipated, the four beasts had all transformed into their human forms. They stood together, causing everyone's eyes to light up. Thousand Resonance transformed into a seductive man with a pair of fox-like eyes that seduced people's souls. Yaguang transformed into a masculine man. His facial features were rougher, but he gave off a different kind of beauty. The flowers in Little Flower's original form were scary, but her human form was beautiful and cute. It would be great if she could change her bloodthirsty eyes. However, she had eaten so many humans and demons that it would be difficult for her to change this habit. The Scarlet Queen Bee usually looked small, but when it transformed into a human form, it didn't lose to other spirit beasts at all. That figure and Little Blossoms together gave off a sense of déjà vu when Easterners and Westerners on Earth stood together. We've succeeded. Xiaohua said happily. In the future, we'll be able to transform into human form. When she was happy, little flowers suddenly bloomed all over her body. Little Blossom, if others see you like this, they'll think they've seen a ghost. Little Roar flew over and teased. You're the ghost. A pink flower appeared in her hand. She hugged Little Roar and tried to insert it into his head, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't insert it. She then conjured a long leaf and wrapped it around his neck. Don't put such an ugly flower on my head. Little Roar waved his 4 short legs in protest. Hurry up and take it down for me. It stretched out its short legs and tried to pull the flower down, but it couldn't pull off the stem. Just wear it. It looks pretty good, Little Blossom said against her will. You guys are too bad. Little Roar broke free from Little Blossom's hand and threw himself into Sima Yoyue's embrace, crying, You look at them, they only know how to bully me. All right, Xiaohua, I'm just playing with you. Sima Yue patted its back and comforted it, but she did not take the flowers down. Ye Guang loosened his arms and said happily, So this is what it's like to transform into a human. It's indeed much more convenient than beast form. Little Roar could see through the crook of Sima Yoyue's arm. Seeing them like this, he felt a little disappointed. They were all in human form, and it seemed like it was the only one in beast form. It's all right, you can transform when your soul recovers, Sima Yue said. But I still think that you're cuter when you don't transform. Yu is a bully, Little Roar complained. You're not human, Sima Yue said with a smile. We didn't bully you. We all love you. Yu over there. Thousand Resonance pointed at Fan Lei and the others. When Sima Yue saw the four of them, she recalled the commotion she had caused and felt her scalp go numb. However, when she saw their gazes, she knew that she couldn't escape this time. She could only brace herself. She flew over with her beasts and bowed to Fan Lei and the others. She smiled and said, President Fan, Director Mao, you're here too. You caused such a huge commotion. How could we not come? Mao Sanquan stared at her. Cough cough, this was purely an accident. Sima Yue said. I didn't think that the lightning tribulation would become like this so quickly. I thought that it would be slower, and after discussing with the little tribulation cloud, I wouldn't cause any commotion. Who knew that the little tribulation cloud would be so fast? It's a good thing that this place is remote. Otherwise, who knows how big of a commotion it would cause? Who knows, it might even delay the billboard competition. Fan Lei said. Cough cough, we specially chose a more remote location. Sima Yue explained, so she didn't want to disturb others from the start. These are your contracted beasts. Mao Sanquan looked at the transformed beasts behind her and asked. Yes. What about your other two? Sima Yue waved her hand, and Little Rock and Chongming came out as well. Now, other than Little Dream and Crimson Flame who were in the Spirit Pagoda, all of her contracted beasts were here. I didn't feel anything when I saw them one by one, but now that I see them all together, I realize that Junior Brother's contracted beasts are all amazing. Han Miao Shuang exclaimed. Isn't that so? Even I don't have so many contracted beasts. Fan Lei looked at all the humanoid beasts with envy. Junior Brother's mental strength is beyond our imagination. Su Xiaoxiao exclaimed. Principal Fan, Instructor Mao, don't you all need to go back? Sima Yue couldn't stand their teasing, and quickly changed the topic. It doesn't matter whether we go to the competition or not. We thought that someone had invaded the school, so we came to take a look. We didn't expect you to be the one who caused the commotion. Fan Lei said. Since there's nothing, let's go back. Mao Sanquan nodded, and the two of them returned to the competition grounds. After they left, Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miao Shuang crossed their arms and looked at her. Senior brother, senior sister, why are you looking at me like that? Sima Yue was scared by their stares. Junior brother, when did you become friends with Calamity Cloud? Han Miao Shuang asked. We didn't know at all. It's a coincidence, we haven't known each other for long, we met when I was struck by it the last time. Sima Yue said. You were struck by lightning and you became friends with it? They didn't believe it. When they saw the Calamity Cloud, they felt like the sky was going to collapse. If it wasn't for the Calamity Cloud restraining its power, Ye Guang and the others would have turned into ashes after 2 strikes, let alone passing through the lightning tribulation and transforming into human form. This wasn't something a normal friendship could do. If everyone was on good terms with the Calamity Cloud, the world would be in chaos. That's because I was struck by it too many times. Sima Yue said sadly. You don't know how many times I was struck by the Calamity Cloud. I was struck when I was advancing, Little Rock was struck when he transformed, and even when I was refining pills I was struck. And my character has always been bad, I met it every time, and we got to know each other. This is what they mean by no discord, no concord. What do you mean by no discord, no concord? I think it was completely seduced by you. Su Xiao didn't believe her. Tell me, did you use your wine to seduce it? That's because it liked it. Sima Yue said. This is called giving good wine to a friend. TSK. Han Miaoshuang rolled her eyes at her, showing that she didn't believe her. Junior brother, since you're so close with the calamity cloud, why don't you tell it that when we refine pills in the future, the pill tribulation shouldn't be so powerful, it hurts me every time. Alright, I'll try the next time we meet. But looking at its arrogant little face, I don't know if it will agree. Sima Yue replied. Although she said that she wasn't sure, she thought that it should be fine to give it a few more jars of wine. Chapter 865. Sima Yue recalled that the beasts had never gone out to play. Although they had followed her to many places, they were usually in the spirit pagoda, and had never gone out by themselves. Therefore he told them to go around the city, take a look at the scenery, and go out for a walk. There was no need to rush back. Crimson Flame wouldn't go, but Little Dream went with him. The spirit pagoda suddenly became much quieter, because it was always the few of them who were causing trouble. Yue felt that she could study Shi Qiushuang's blood properly now. However, she had never been to the Devil's Cave, and did not know the situation there. Therefore she did not know what kind of poison could cause Shi Qiushuang's body to shrink, fester, and not be able to see light. Shi Qiushuang refused to tell her the situation, so it was more troublesome for her to study it. At first, she was even a little confused. You can try your blood. Mo Sha suddenly appeared beside her, giving her a fright. You're finally out. Sima Yue was surprised to see him, but she was happy to see him. Yes. Mo Sha nodded. Seeing the joy in her eyes, he felt that he should have come out earlier. You finally recovered. Thinking of how weak he was before, she still felt a lingering fear in her heart. How could you be so foolish to actually run to the primal chaos world? What if we can't get out? I knew you wouldn't be unable to come out. Mo Sha said confidently. Idiot. Even if I can't come out, I'll only become a living dead, I won't really die. With your ability, it's easy to break the contract. Sima Yue said, but if you're trapped inside, you won't be able to get out. You are not allowed to do such dangerous things in the future. Yes. Mo Sha faintly replied. She didn't know if he took her words to heart. How are you doing now? Sima Yue did not know much about souls and did not know how he looked like. There's nothing else. Mo Sha said. Although he's been sealed for so many years, Azure's soul power is still very strong. I've absorbed all of his soul power, and converted it into mine. That means you're doing well. She smiled brightly when she heard the news. Where is your senior brother? Mo Kazan asked. I'm still in the Sage Pavilion, but I'll be there for the pill competition. Sima Yue said. Are you going to find senior brother to fuse with? Yes. Originally, they needed to prepare some things in the demon realm, but they didn't expect to encounter a great emperor's soul. So now, they didn't need to prepare those things. You only need to bring some basic things over. Mo Sha said. That old thing from the Sage Pavilion is eyeing my body covetously. Your senior brother's strength is not strong now. If that old fellow really gets there first, your senior brother and I won't be able to live. Then you guys should fuse during the pill competition this time. Sima Yue said. In the past, senior brother was either too weak or you were injured. I hope you guys can fuse successfully this time. After the billboard ranking competition ends, take some time off. I have something for you to do. Mo Sha said. Will it take a long time? Sima Yue asked. It's not long. It won't delay your pill competition later on. Mo Sha said. How long will it take? You have something to do. I originally planned to recruit people after the billboard ranking competition. Sima Yue said. If it's fast, it'll take 2 to 3 months. Mo Sha said. If it's slow, you can postpone the recruitment plan. Sima Yue nodded. She had to be more proactive about Mo Sha's matters. She had to settle his matters first. If she really didn't have time later on, she didn't have to rush to recruit people now. The last time you said those words in the chaotic world. Oh right, you said just now that my blood can cure her poison. Sima Yue interrupted him, not letting him mention that. Emosha looked at her blushing face and his heart itched. He subconsciously reached out his hand to touch her face. However, he didn't touch anything. Damn it, his soul was too strong. He thought that he already had a body. He didn't expect that he would pass through it. However, this didn't matter. He condensed his right hand, and the originally transparent hand became like a normal person's. Sima Yue dodged backwards, avoiding his hand, saying, I'm asking you a question. I'll answer you after I touch you, Emosha said seriously. Sima Yue was speechless. Was there anyone who was so shameless in broad daylight? Emosha reached out his hand, but she couldn't dodge anymore. If he couldn't touch her, this guy definitely wouldn't let it go. Her silky smooth skin, soft touch. His heart began to ripple. However, before he could make his next move, Sima Yue took a step back, saying, Now you should answer my question. Emosha raised his eyebrows. I've tried to put my blood in before, but it didn't work. Sima Yue said. You also asked me to put my blood in just now. Could it be that I didn't put enough? No, Emosha said. I'm not talking about using your sacred light physique's blood. I'm talking about the sacred darkness physique's blood that you've neglected. That's useful. Emosha came to the table and looked at the bowl of viscous blood. That person's body isn't normal anymore. Her body was invaded by an unknown poison. All these years, their poison master used poison to fight poison, injecting a lot of poison into her body. Now there's no cure for her body. However, if we know what was in the beginning and the poison that she took later on, there's a cure, Sima Yue said. However, she doesn't plan to tell you that the poison master was killed by Little Seven. Your path won't work, Emosha denied. Then what you said, the sacred darkness physique's blood, will that work? Sima Yue asked. The sacred light physique's blood is useful for curing poisons. However, what you don't know is that the sacred darkness physique's blood is actually a type of poison. It's because of this poison that people with darkness can cultivate very quickly. Emosha said. You're talking about using poison to fight poison? Sima Yue was a little uncertain. Previously, Lei Tianquan fed Shiqiu Shuang a lot of poison to fight poison with poison. However, it didn't have any effect. Will using the sacred darkness physique's blood work? The sacred darkness physique's blood is more toxic than you can imagine, Emosha said. Moreover, aren't you in the experimental stage now? Why not give it a try? You thought about it and agreed. Hence, she dived in again and started using her own blood as the entry point for the antidote, hoping that she would find something this time. This time, Emosha wasn't in a hurry to retrieve the devil snare bracelet. Instead, he stood at the side and watched her research quietly. Chapter 866. Sima Yue did not care about anything when she was busy. Although Emosha was watching from the side, he couldn't affect her. Emosha looked at her busy and serious appearance, and the corner of his mouth rose slightly. This girl actually said those words to him in the chaos world. He had never properly told her about this. Does that count as a confession? Does she like him as much as he likes her? The Azure Sea Emperor's soul entered his soul, and said before disappearing, If you like her, then protect her well. Don't repeat my mistakes. It turned out that all the things I did before were because I liked her. Not only had the Azure Sea Emperor given him the power of his soul, but he'd also infused his emotions into his soul. The love of the soul. If you love me, you have to pamper me, she said playfully in the primal chaos world. What counts as spoiling her? He had never been with a woman before, so he didn't know what it meant to be pampered. It's gonna be like she said. If it was her request, he wouldn't refuse. I think that's easy enough to satisfy. Sima Yue forced the black blood out of her body. She cut her finger with a knife and dripped the blood into an empty bowl. She had never seen her own black blood before. She thought that the highly toxic blood should be extremely smelly, but she didn't expect it to have a faint fragrance. Emosha couldn't smell it, but looking at Sima Yue's expression, he knew that it was a light fragrance. I'm curious as to why your blood has a fragrance. Sima Yue nodded. Do you know? Your blood doesn't smell very good to normal humans. But to people with the dark attribute, it's a fatal fragrance. Deadly fragrance. Sima Yue was confused. Although the sacred light physique's blood can detoxify the poison, it's not enough to cause a stir in the human world. However, the sacred body of darkness is different. Your blood can speed up the cultivation of the ghost clan. That fragrance will make them go crazy. In order to obtain it, they will do anything. Emosha explained. In other words, if you go to the ghost realm and let others know that you have the sacred body of darkness, if you don't have a strong enough strength, and if you don't have a strong enough influence, then you may face endless pursuit. It can speed up one's cultivation. Sima Yue could not help but twitch her mouth when she heard his description. When she came to this world, she turned into Tang Seng's meat. Are you the same? She asked. Was your body the same to the people of the demon realm back then? Emosha silently. You've been pursued many times. At the start, Emosha recalled. At that time, I had just arrived in the devil world and didn't know anything. I didn't know what the races were, nor did I know their specialties or what they were good at. At that time, I just thought Yue. But my curiosity didn't last long. Why? Because towards the end I no longer have the time and energy to be curious. Pursued. Yes, they are being hunted down. They are being hunted endlessly. At S's Yue. At Yue of the Yue. Tites Yue. You were alone in the devil realm, with no relatives or friends. You had to face the inescapable net of the entire devil realm. If you wanted to survive, how difficult would that be? Sima you could imagine his situation at that time, and her heart ached for him. And then, he was originally a young man in the human world. He was abandoned by the humans and had no choice but to go to the demon world alone. It was almost impossible for an ordinary person to survive in the inescapable net. After that, I went to a place. When I came out of there, not many people dared to kill me. Those people who came were all killed by me. Over time, no one dared to have any evil thoughts. What about your family? When you were in trouble, didn't you go to them? I did, but all I got was another betrayal. Emosha said lightly, but the word again, the word betrayal, revealed a deep sorrow. Then what happened to them? I killed them. Emosha looked at the distant mountain range and said, when I became the Devil King, I killed them all. My grandfather, grandmother, uncles, all of them were killed. Family members who didn't care about you. Family members who wanted to kill you. They hurt you more than the average person. Sima Yue didn't think that he was a cold-blooded person. Not everyone was as lucky as her to have a happy family, and loved her brother and grandfather so much. For example, Bei Gong Tang. When Emosha heard her words, his heart trembled, and he turned to look at her. Her gaze was so clear and the smile on her lips was so warm. It made his cold heart melt. She understood him. When others knew that he killed his own clan, they only blamed him and hated him. Especially when they found out that he didn't even let the young children off. They felt that he was a murderous demon king. But they didn't know that those children were also one of the people who wanted to kill him. They even used their family and age to set a trap for him, almost causing him to lose his life. What he did to them was what they did to him in the past. Don't worry. As long as you don't betray me, I won't betray you, Sima Yue said. Emosha looked at her for a long time before nodding his head. Although her feelings for him were conditional, he had never thought of betraying her. At most, he only thought of killing her in the beginning when he regained his freedom. But now not only would he not kill her, he would protect her and stay with her. So he wouldn't betray her and he believed that she wouldn't betray him. Continue talking about your matter. He was still not used to showing his emotions. He had always been overbearing and didn't know how to be gentle. Okay. Sima Yue didn't want to talk about his matters and make him sad. At this moment in her eyes, he was no longer a high and mighty demon king. He was just a normal person who had been hurt before. Take a portion of her blood and put a drop of yours in. Emosha instructed from the side. Sima Yue followed his instructions and used a green jade bowl to get half a bowl of poison blood. Then she put a drop of her own blood in it. When the two types of blood mixed, it made a sizzling sound. Shi Qiushuang's blood began to boil and bubbles the size of rice grains appeared. When the bubbles burst, a pungent smell assaulted their nostrils. Sima Yue couldn't help but cover her nose. However, she didn't leave and continued to observe the situation. Chapter 867. The blood continued to churn. As the black mist continued to spread out, the blood became more and more transparent. It was no longer as sticky as before. Sima Yue observed carefully and recorded every 2 minutes. After more than 10 minutes, the movement in the bowl finally stopped. It's really useful. She used the jade rod to cut a few times, and the blood had changed greatly. Yes, we can continue researching. Emo Sha said. Sima Yue nodded and continued her research. Emo Sha returned to his silence, watching her study it over and over again. When he was happy he said, "That Shi Qianji, his poison skills aren't bad. If you want to go the route of fighting poison with poison, you can go ask him. Why didn't you say so earlier?" Sima Yue glared at him and continued her research. "Let me try first. If it doesn't work, I'll go find him." He didn't believe her at all. She didn't believe that she couldn't find an antidote. Emo Sha saw through her little thoughts and only smiled, not saying anything else. However many days Sima Yue spent researching in the spirit pagoda, Emo Sha watched from the side. He had never felt such a strong desire to look at her. As long as he looked at her, his heart would be satisfied. 7 to 8 days passed in the blink of an eye. 70 to 80 days had passed in the spirit pagoda. Sima Yue finally found some clues. On this day, Han Miaoshuang came to look for her. She had no choice but to stop her research and go out. "Senior sister, why are you here?" Sima Yue asked as she let her in. "I know you've been busy recently, so I came to find you for something." Han Miaoshuang said. "Do you know what day it is tomorrow?" "What day is tomorrow?" Sima Yue blinked and asked. "I knew you didn't know." Han Miaoshuang rolled her eyes at her. "Tomorrow is the second round of competition. As the first in the qualifier, you need to participate in the competition tomorrow. The first round of the written test is already over. Why is it so fast?" Sima Yue asked in surprise. "It's not that fast. More than 10 days have passed." Han Miaoshuang said. "They know that you're in closed-door cultivation and didn't notice the time. So your friends asked me to call you so that you won't be late tomorrow." "I understand. Thank you, senior sister." "All right, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. You can continue with your work." Sima Yue sent Han Miaoshuang away and entered the spirit pagoda. She asked Little Spirit to take note of the time while she continued to research the antidote. The next day, under Little Spirit's reminder, she arrived at the competition venue on time. Seeing her, who had not appeared for many days, everyone smiled and greeted her. "Yue, you're finally here." Yifeng hugged her shoulder and said, "If you hadn't come, I would have thought that you were going to quit the competition. I was anxious for 2 days." Sima Yue smiled at him and said, "Don't worry, I've agreed to compete with you. Even if we don't meet in this competition, I'll still compete with you in the future." "Really?" Yifeng was overjoyed. "You should have told me earlier. Then I wouldn't have to worry for 2 days. You're not the one who should be worried. We've already told you that Yue is in trouble. Yet you still have to worry." Fatty Chu walked over and pulled away Yue's hand from Yue's shoulder. "I'm just worried when I see him," Yifeng said. "What a battle maniac." Actually, in his heart he already knew that he would not be able to defeat Yue. But if he did not compete, he would not be able to let go. A group of people entered the arena, and the teacher came in not long after. The teacher announced the rules. This time, they would not be ranked according to their ranking. Instead, everyone would draw lots and be ranked together. If they met someone who was stronger than them, then they would be considered unlucky. Everyone went up to draw lots in order. Including the 500 people who were eliminated from the previous round, there were a total of 600 people. Sima Yue followed everyone to line up. When she reached the lottery box, she reached in and took out a slip of paper. Number 20, opponent number 19. Sima Yue liked this number. She was at the front of the line so that she could go back and study it after the competition. She waited for a while at the competition venue. A pair of contestants would take about an hour if they were fast, and 2 hours if they were slow. She was in the second round, and had finished her competition in the morning. She was very lucky that her opponent was not very strong. When the opponent saw that it was her, he did not take her seriously at first. She was just a new student who was lucky enough to get first place in the qualifiers. She was definitely not strong. Therefore, he did not even say his name and directly said to her, "Let's start." He thought that he would win the competition easily. But in less than a minute, he was already standing below the arena. Looking at Yue who was standing in front of him, he did not know how to react. How did he get down there? It was as if he suddenly appeared in front of him, grabbed his body and threw him down. Arena number 5, Sima Yue wins. The referee's voice rang in his ears, completely waking him up. He could not believe that he was eliminated just like that. But since the referee had already announced the result, he could only accept it. This was the first time someone had defeated an opponent in such a short period of time since the start of the Billboard ranking competition. Everyone in the spectator stands was stunned. Sima Yue turned around and left the arena. When she passed by her opponent, she said, "Thank you for letting me win." Her opponent's face turned red. She returned to the viewing platform. Sima Yuming and the others were already used to seeing her end the battle so quickly. However, Tang Yan and the others were extremely surprised. "Yue, you're too strong. You're my idol." "Yes, that kind of idol." Tang Yan looked at her with admiration. How could anyone end a battle so quickly? Furthermore, it was a new student against a senior. The most important thing was that she did not use any spirit energy in the battle. Nobody knew how strong she was. Idol. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Oofed. He Feng and the others laughed. They had heard Fatty Chu and the others say that she was their idol, but they did not hear this explanation. "I didn't mean that. Yue, you can't misunderstand me," Tang Yan said. "I'm just teasing you." Sima Yue said, "I'm done with the competition. I'll go back first. Remember to inform me when the competition is over." "Okay." He Feng and the others watched as Sima Yue went back just like that. They were curious as to what she was doing. She was so busy that she did not even have time to watch the competition. Tang Yan asked Sima Yulin who was beside him. Sima Yulin looked at Yue's back and said with heartache, "She's busy with something that we can't help with." "Is she always so busy?" "Yeah, she's always been busy. Ever since I met her, she's always been so busy that she rarely has time for herself." Chapter 868. They had seen Sima Yue's hard work and sacrifice, and their hearts ached for her. They knew the responsibility on her shoulders, so they couldn't persuade her to slow down. They could only stay by her side and hope that they could advance and retreat together with her. This was her unique temperament. She always made the people around her willing to be with her, and at the same time, made everyone look forward to their own future. Because in their opinion, the future they created with her would be even more exciting. Sima Yue returned to the parting garden and entered the spirit pagoda. Shi Qiushuang's poison was making some progress. She needed to strike while the iron was hot. This way, it would be more beneficial to find the antidote. When they entered, Mo Sha was playing with Ling Long, and there was a faint smile on his face. "The match is over." He looked up at her. "Yeah, it just so happens that mine was in the front, so I came back as soon as I finished." "Do you want to continue researching?" Mo Sha asked. "Yes." Sima Yue walked over and patted Ling Long. "It's best to solve this problem during the competition. After the competition, you can apply for leave to do other things." As for the other matters, it referred to working for Mo Sha and building his own forces. She went to her alchemy room and saw the equipment on the table. She let out a long sigh. Ever since she entered the inner courtyard, she had heard about the wind cloud ranking. She had always wanted to participate in this competition to see where she ranked among the younger generation of this continent. She wanted to see what the outstanding youths of this continent were capable of. However, she didn't expect something like this to happen at the start of the competition. She had no choice but to focus on detoxification. She didn't have the time or energy to watch the competition. When she thought of this, she felt rather helpless. However, thinking about it was just thinking about it. She still had to continue fighting and resolve this matter as soon as possible. Thus, she did not leave the second round of the competition until the end. Before the third round of the competition, Han Miaoshuang came to look for her again, reminding her to participate in the third round of the competition the next day. After the second round of eliminations, there were only 300 contestants left. Following the same rules, everyone went to the stage to draw their own number. This time, her number was at the back, and it was a number that she disliked very much. 250. I actually became a 250 this time. She teased herself when she saw her number. She didn't have a turn for the first 3 days of the 150 battles, so she stayed in the Spirit Pagoda for another 3 days. On the morning of the fourth day, she went on stage. Before entering the arena, she didn't even know who her opponent was. I'm Luo Ziyuan, ranked 96th in the previous ranking. Yu Yue's opponent said. I know you, a genius among the new students. I watched the match between you and the leader of the Thunderbolt Society. I know that your strength is definitely not something a freshman should have, so I won't lower my guard like the previous person. Sima Yue felt honored to be valued by her opponent. He didn't look down on her, wasn't arrogant, and didn't back down. She appreciated that. Sima Yue, please enlighten me, senior. She cupped her hands and said, please. Although Luo Ziyuan didn't underestimate her, his strength was far behind hers, so there was no suspense in this competition. She subdued her opponent in half an hour. I lost. Luo Ziyuan looked at the long sword against his neck and said calmly. Sima Yue didn't make things difficult for him. After he admitted defeat, she kept her sword and said, thank you for letting me win. The referee saw that Luo Ziyuan had admitted defeat and announced loudly, Arena number 2, Sima Yue wins. Hearing the referee's announcement, the two of them went down the arena together. Sima Yue had a good impression of him, so she chatted with him for a while. In the Spirit Pagoda, Emo Sha saw her talking and laughing with a guy. He felt weird and wanted to send that guy flying with a slap. Although he felt uncomfortable when he saw her interacting with other guys in the past, it wasn't as strong as it was now. Hey, don't release your pressure here. Little Spirit saw the wind around Emo Sha and cried out. Emo Sha ignored him, and merely looked at Sima Yu who was outside. He was very angry. Okay. Sima Yue felt the change in the Spirit Pagoda, and was a little confused. She said to Luo Ziyuan, I still have something to do, so I'll go back first. You're not going to stay and watch the competition? Luo Ziyuan saw that she was going back and was very surprised. The billboard competition was a competition that all students didn't want to miss, but she didn't want to watch it. I want to watch it too, but I really do have something urgent to deal with. Goodbye. Sima Yue waved at him and quickly left. On the way back, she felt that the Spirit Pagoda was in a mess and asked Little Spirit, what happened? The Great Devil is having a fit. Little Spirit said, luckily we didn't disturb those who are in closed-door cultivation, or else his identity would be exposed. Sima Yue thought about the elders of the Egret clan and the Four-Winged Rocks, as well as her grandfather and Aunt Lon who were in closed-door cultivation. This commotion might really disturb them. What provoked this guy to be so careless? She said reproachfully. Wait for me to go in and deal with him. Emo Sha didn't have much of a reaction to her words. She wanted to deal with him, but he wanted to deal with her too. How could she be so close to another man? Sima Yue returned to the parting garden and entered the Spirit Pagoda. After making sure that no one else was disturbed, she asked with a heavy face, don't you know that they don't know about your existence? You actually dared to make such a big commotion. What if someone found out? If they know, then they know. Emo Sha said disapprovingly. What is your identity? How can you let so many people know? Sima Yue said. Anyway, they won't go out, so they won't spread the news. But your existence will affect their hearts. You can't let them cultivate properly. Haven't you given them enough stimulation? Emosha said. The stimulation you gave them is enough for them to cultivate a strong heart. Even if you don't mind them knowing your identity. Why did you make such a mess here? Sima Yue glared at him. She actually dared to ask him this. Who asked you to not come back to continue researching the antidote after the competition ended? More than half of the competition has already passed, and you haven't made any progress. What if you delay my matters? Emosha said. But not only did you not come back, you even chatted with another man in full swing outside. I'm angry, so you naturally have to bear my anger. What do you mean by chatting with another man in full swing? We only had a few exchanges about today's competition. How is it in full swing? No, that's not your main point. Emosha, you're jealous, aren't you? Chapter 869. To be jealous. Why would Ben Wang do such a senseless thing? Ben Wang is just angry. Emosha glanced at her, resolutely refusing to admit that he was jealous. Jealousy. How could such an emotion appear in him? He was just angry. He was angry that she didn't take his matters to heart. Yes, that was it. Sima Yue's anger dissipated when she saw that he nodded emphatically. Your Highness Demon King, I know that you're not jealous. You're just angry. You're using your anger as an excuse to hide your jealousy, she said to him with a smile. Nonsense. How am I spouting nonsense? Sima Yue said. Every time you talk about me, you're just trying to cover it up. Nonsense. Emosha turned his face to the side. If you're jealous, so be it. What's there to be embarrassed about? Sima Yue reached out to poke his soul, although she could only pass through it. I'm so smart, cute, beautiful, and wise. It's normal for you to like me. Who would like you? Your strength is so low. Although your looks are passable, your personality is not good at all. Compared to other women, you lack charm and seduction. Emosha looked at her hand poking his heart. He felt strange, as if she had really grabbed his heart. Sima Yue was unhappy and continued to poke and poke. In that case, you had a lot of women in the past. Some were elegant, some were cold, some were charming, and some were cute. Do you change 2 women every day 365 days in a year? You're the Demon King, so you naturally have a lot of women around you. What am I? How can I make you jealous when you've seen all the beauties in the world? As expected, I was thinking too much. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that this was the case. She suddenly felt a little disappointed and laughed self-mockingly towards the end. Emosha saw that she was smiling just a moment ago, but in the blink of an eye, she looked disappointed and hurt. He didn't understand why. He couldn't figure out the reason, but he didn't want to see her like this. When he saw her like this, he felt empty inside. The more anxious he was, the more he didn't know what to do. When he saw her retract her hand, he subconsciously tensed his body and grabbed her hand. His other hand circled around her neck, stopping her from backing away. Then he kissed her fiercely. Oh. Sima Yue widened her eyes. Another kiss. Emosha didn't know how to kiss her. He just instinctively bit her soft lips. The sweet sensation between their lips made him feel as if his heart was about to melt. But Sima Yue doesn't feel well. Her lips hurt. Was this guy born in the year of the dog? His lips were probably bitten by him. She wanted to push him away, but Emosha thought that she wasn't willing. Instead, he used more strength to control her, and his mouth became even more overbearing. The more one tried to push him away, the tighter the other tried to control himself. The more one tried to control the other, the more the other tried to push him away. The two of them continued to compete with each other, forgetting that they were kissing. This was the first time Emosha's body had solidified, and it was also the first time Sima Yue felt his embrace. Unfortunately, she was not in the mood to feel the warmth of his embrace, or the strength of his body. All her attention was focused on resisting. The amount of strength needed to solidify one's body was huge. Emosha only solidified for a few minutes before he couldn't take it anymore, and turned back into a spirit. The strength that was added to his body suddenly disappeared, and Sima Yue almost fell to the ground because she used too much strength. Luckily, she reacted quickly and took a few steps back, dispelling the strength. Are you born in the year of the dog? She stood firm and shouted at him. She touched her lips, and sure enough, they were bleeding. Emosha saw that her lips were red and swollen from his bite, and the dissatisfaction in his heart disappeared. His lips curled into a charming smile. Still smiling, Sima Yue glared at him and continued to shout. What are you doing now? Why did you bite me for no reason? Kiss. Emosha corrected her words. *CK your grandfather's kiss. Whose kiss is like this? A kiss is gentle and lingering. You bit the wrong one. Why am I telling you this? Who let you touch me, you big stallion? Sima Yue angrily scolded. After following Sima Yue for so many years, he naturally knew what she meant by big stallion. He frowned and said seriously, I'm not a big stallion. Who would believe you? Sima Yue didn't believe him. She took out the ointment and a small mirror, and applied the ointment in front of the mirror. Another forced kiss, another forced kiss. How many forced kisses had it been? She held the jade bottle in her hand, and told herself not to be angry. But when she saw her red and swollen lips in the mirror, the jade bottle broke. She threw away the broken pieces in her hand, and took out another bottle of ointment, planning to apply the ointment. In the past, when she was forced to kiss, it was just 4 lips touching, and it wasn't like this. At that time she thought, wasn't it just a forced kiss? She would just treat it as being bitten by a dog. Only now did she know that a forced kiss could really be bitten by a dog. Thinking of this, the jade bottle broke again before she applied the ointment. She threw away the broken pieces, and got another bottle. Emosha floated over, and took the jade pendant from her hand. He hooked the ointment, and ignoring her murderous eyes, he gently applied the ointment for her. I've never been with a woman. He finished applying the ointment, and caressed her soft lips, saying, I've never been with a woman, and I've never touched a woman, much less kissed a woman. You're the first. Humph. Sima Yue slapped his hand away, and ignored him. She already knew this. With his clumsy kissing skills, if a kiss could turn into a dog bite, it would be strange if he had ever been with a woman. But what she was angry about now wasn't whether he had ever been with a woman, but that this guy actually forced another kiss on her. She hated being forced to kiss. Through the contract, Emosha felt the anger in her heart, and the reason why she was angry. He put the jade bottle in her hand, saying, If you're angry about this, I can let you force a kiss back, I don't mind. Force a kiss back, don't mind? Screw your second uncle, who wants to force a kiss on you. You don't mind, but I do. She growled and slapped him, but it only brushed past his head. I'll give you a chance to force a kiss on me. If you want to force a kiss back, this chance is valid for life. Emosha said very seriously. Sima Yue wanted to slap him again, but seeing his serious expression, she stopped. He was serious, he was serious, he was serious. He could actually say such perverted words in such a serious manner. She really lost to this guy. She wanted to give him 2 punches, but he was in a spirit state, so she couldn't hit him. But if she didn't beat him up, the anger in her heart wouldn't go away. She endured, and couldn't help but endure again. Finally, she suppressed all her anger, and went to the pill refining room. Out of sight, out of mind. Isn't it just a forced kiss? Just you wait. Chapter 870. Sima Yue was messing around in the alchemy room while Emosha was in a good mood outside. Although he had used up a lot of energy just now, he hadn't felt that kind of real touch for a long time. Especially the feeling of hugging her, it was too nostalgic. Alas, the time was too short. Before he could enjoy it, his body couldn't take it anymore. But, is this really not how a kiss should be? He didn't understand. It was all his fault for being inexperienced. Otherwise she wouldn't be so angry. He couldn't help but have this thought. However, if he was really experienced, Yue would be even angrier. Little Spirit waited for this storm to pass before appearing in front of Emosha. Ling Long was with him. Little Spirit didn't say anything and just silently cleaned up the messy space. After cleaning up, he glanced at Emosha and left with Ling Long alas in front of him. Yu's combat strength is really too weak. If they really got together in the future, Yu would definitely be bullied. Yu is so pitiful. Exquisite said. Humph, who knows who will bully who in the future? Little Spirit was still holding on to his fantasy. Yes, Yu was still very powerful. We have to believe in him. Although I feel that the possibility is very small, there is always a chance. Exquisite nodded. If Sima Yue, who was in the alchemy room, heard their conversation, she would probably crush the experimental bottle in her hand. Were they trying to boost her morale or diminish her prestige? In the fourth round, the top 150 would advance to the top 75. In the fifth round, out of 75 people, one person would advance to the next round. The remaining 74 people would advance to the next round. Yue wasn't lucky enough to advance to the next round, but she still made it to the top 20. At this point, she was the only one left among the freshmen. Sima Yulin and the others had been eliminated from the 150 to 75. They would not be able to participate in the later rounds of the competition, but they would participate in the later rounds of the ranking competition to determine their final ranking. In the previous round, 19 people had advanced to the next round. With one more person, they had to draw lots again. This time, Yue was lucky. She drew the lot to advance to the top 10. A freshman had advanced to the top 10. The entire academy was in an uproar. They all knew that she was very powerful, but they didn't think that she could reach this step. Tisk, what's there to be surprised about? Although she didn't use all of her spiritual power, I heard that she is a primary divine emperor. How many of you can reach the level of primary divine emperor? If you do, you can also enter the top 20. Junior divine emperor? That's right. That's why he's a real force. I wonder which force he's from. He's actually so powerful. To have such strength at such a young age. Not only that, she's also a body refiner. Body refinement path? Didn't you notice that in the first few rounds of the competition, she defeated her opponents with her physical strength? I think so. Then she's too awesome. Since he's so powerful, I'm afraid that only the top few can contend with him, right? That's not necessarily true. I also heard that she has many contracted beasts. Each of them is very powerful. Yes, I heard about it too. He has a golden-winged great pung, and is now the king of the rocks. In that case, doesn't that mean he can command all the birds? That's right. Heavens, who else in this continent can be his opponent? She's already very powerful, and now she has such a strong external force. This Sima Yue is simply a god. Sigh, I used to think that I was already very powerful to be able to enter the heavenly sect. Now that I'm compared to her, I realize that I'm just trash. That's right. That's too much of a blow. She's so powerful, and she's also an alchemist. How are we supposed to live? It's a good thing that there aren't many perverts like her. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to live. Speaking of which, the people in her team are all perverts. Bei Gongtang, Ouyang Fei, and that Sima Yulin are all very powerful. Freshmen can enter the top 10, and can even enter the top 100. Sima Yue's brothers are the same as well. Their cultivation is obviously the same as the average student, but their battle prowess is much stronger. Even the worst of them can be ranked in the top 200. When did the freshmen become so powerful? I heard that even Crazy He and Tangyan have joined that team. That team has the least number of people, but it's the most popular. Yeah, most people can't even join them. I saw that she didn't give it her all when she competed with the others. I think that when the final competition comes, we'll definitely be able to feast our eyes. We'll be able to see it tomorrow. At this time, Sima Yue was sitting behind these people, listening to their discussions. As the competition neared the end, she could no longer continue studying in the Spirit Pagoda. She had to understand the situation in the final competition. She had to see her opponents. Today's competition was to advance from 19 to 10. When she drew lots in the morning, she happened to get an empty lot. She directly advanced to the top 10 and competed with the remaining 9. Out of the 9 pairs of competitors, 5 had already gone up. This Hifeng is really a battle maniac. His battle prowess is really not bad, she said to Bei Gongtang beside her. These years, whenever he sees someone stronger, he'll run over to challenge them. He's been beaten up many times. His battle prowess is probably because he was beaten up. Bei Gong Tang said with a smile. It's a good thing that he's in the sect. If he was outside, he would have lost his life long ago if he went around looking for people to fight. Wei Ziqi sighed. Tang Yin also heard that he's strong. His opponent is Lai Xiaotian, who used to be ranked 15th. This battle won't be too difficult for him. Sima Yulin said. In today's competition, most of the competitors were ranked in the top 20 of the billboard. Every single one of them had extraordinary battle prowess. One battle could last for 3 to 4 hours. All kinds of spirit beasts, pills, and treasures were taken out. The treatment of the top 10 and the top 20 was as different as heaven and earth. These people's battle prowess is extraordinary. If you go up against them, you'll have to put in more effort. I don't think you can do it like before. Wei Ziqi said. I was lucky before. I didn't meet any strong opponents. Sima Yue said. But later on, it won't depend on luck anymore. The experts on the billboard are all strong people. She didn't watch the billboard's competition properly before. Every time, she would leave after the competition. And her opponents were all very weak. She didn't meet anyone who was really strong. But because of this, she didn't think that the sect's students were all weak. The experts were all left for the back. Didn't that Hua Piao Miao always look down on us? If you meet her, you have to beat her up. Fatty Chu said. Cat pounce. Chapter 871. 7 was unhappy, very unhappy. She clearly didn't participate in the previous competitions. How could those old fellows let her participate in the current competition? She said that she didn't think of it at that time, but now she couldn't back out even if she wanted to. She had to participate in the competition. She's angry, very angry, and the consequences are very serious. She still didn't know who her opponent was, but no matter who it was, they were destined to become her punching bag. She would beat the other party up until they cried for their parents and felt extremely comfortable. Why was Yu able to watch from above while he was waiting to go on stage? It's not fair. Look at little 7, her face is puffed up like a bun. Fatty Chu pointed at her and said with a smile. Fatty Chu, little 7 has a belly full of fire. If you provoke her now, be careful that she will beat you up until you can't get out of bed for 3 days. Sima Yulu was beside Fatty Chu. Seeing little 7's expression, he gloated. Little 7 felt their gazes and looked over. Seeing Fatty Chu smiling, she glared at him fiercely. Fatty Chu originally didn't take his words to heart, but little 7's gaze made him shrink his neck involuntarily. That look says, if you mess with me, I'll punch you. He completely believed that if little 7 wanted to beat him up, being bedridden for 3 days would be a light punishment. Sima Yue and the rest couldn't help but laugh when they saw Fatty Chu's expression. As long as he met little 7, Fatty Chu would be terrified. However, little 7 is indeed very angry. I wonder who would be so unlucky to become her opponent. Sima Yue said with a smile. No matter who it is, I'm afraid that this outcome won't be easy. Sima Yuran said. Unless the opponent concedes the moment they go up and doesn't give her a chance to act. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't even have the chance to speak later. Finally, it was little 7's turn. She flew onto the stage, crossed her arms and glared at her opponent. That oppressive aura made the referee feel pressured. He coughed lightly and said, This round little 7 is up. I admit defeat. The other party didn't wait for the referee to finish speaking and admitted defeat first. What did you say? Little 7 was furious. We haven't even started yet. How can he just admit defeat like this? The referee looked at that person and asked, Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure, he said. I admit defeat. It wasn't like he didn't know little 7, who could compare to little 7's combat power. Moreover, she had evolved. He was even less of a match for her. Looking at the unrestrained hostility emanating from her body, it was obvious that she was very angry and wanted to find someone to vent her anger on. If he didn't admit defeat now, he wouldn't be able to do so when the fight really started. Don't admit defeat. Little 7 shouted. If you admit defeat, do you believe that I won't beat you up? In the end, he looked at Xiaoqi and said to the referee, I admit defeat. Hurry up and announce the verdict. When the referee saw this, he didn't try to persuade Xiaoqi any further. With Xiaoqi's current state, it was no wonder that the other party wanted to admit defeat. Third arena, Little Seven wins. Hearing the referee's announcement, that person hurriedly jumped down and no longer looked at Little Seven. Too scary, he said, patting his chest repeatedly. Humph. Little Seven didn't beat him up. She angrily stomped her feet and went down unwillingly. Kacha. A crisp cracking sound clearly entered everyone's ears. They looked towards the arena and saw that the intact stone of the arena, with Little Seven as the center, had cracked in all directions. The arena was broken. But no one dared to say anything to Little Seven. They could only watch as she went down the arena. Cracked. Fatty Chu looked at the third arena and said in disbelief. He had previously set his goal to destroy the arena, but Little Seven just stomped her feet and it was done. This was too much of a blow to him. Mao Sanquan and Fan Lei on the VIP stand were heartbroken. That was a 9-star dark stone that only existed in the 9-star dark sea. There were only a few pieces in total. Now she had actually smashed it with one stomp. This little brat, why is her temper so big? Mao Sanquan's heart was bleeding. And this was on the arena. According to her temper, this stomp would have been on us. Will this method work? Mao Sanquan said uncertainly. We can't lose the wife and lose the soldiers. Whether it works or not, it's already like this. We can only see the results later. Fan Lei sighed. I hope it doesn't go to waste. On the other side, Little Seven returned to the VIP stand and sat down beside Sima Yue with a long face. Sima Yue looked at her ugly little face and laughed. She used one hand to pinch her nose. Alright, don't be angry. Look, you've destroyed the arena. You should calm down now. Only she had the guts to pinch Little Seven's nose at this time. Let me destroy all 5 arenas. Then I won't be angry. Little Seven said angrily. You destroyed one. Director Mao and the rest are all heartbroken. Look at their faces. Don't they look heartbroken? Sima Yue said. Little Seven followed his gaze and looked over. Sure enough, she saw Mao Sanquan's distressed expression. Seeing his eyebrows trembling, she laughed out loud. Pfft, I just want him to feel heartbroken. Let's see if he dares to treat me like this next time. Little Seven said this, but she wasn't so angry anymore. With this lesson, he won't dare to do it again. Sima Yue said. So don't be angry anymore. You is the best. Everyone wants to hide far away from me. Only you stay with me. Bei Gongtang and the rest couldn't help but twitch their mouths. You have such a strong aura. Of course we have to hide far away. Not everyone is like Yue and has a special place in your heart. Yue is trying to persuade her, but we are just adding fuel to the fire. He might even get himself into trouble and get beaten up by you. Others might not dare to say this, but if it was Fatty Chu, he would definitely be beaten up. Therefore, persuading people is not something that anyone can do. Alright, let's continue watching the competition. Sima Yue said as she patted her hand. The arena in the middle was destroyed. The school didn't plan to change it for the time being, so they left it in the middle. Wang Ximiao, Pang Jianan and Hua Piao Miao finished their matches first. The 3 of them were in the top 10. After that, Tang Yan and Mo Bin were in the top 10. Including Little Seven and Sima Yue, there were 7 people in the top 10. In the afternoon, He Feng successfully defeated his opponent and entered the top 10. Following that, the other 2 were chosen. The top 10 on the billboard were decided. The school announced the end of today's competition. The contestants were allowed to rest for a day to adjust their condition. The day after tomorrow, the top 5 would compete. Chapter 872. All the contestants rested for a day. The contestants were still fine and rested on their own. However, the other students were already in an uproar. The whole school was filled with people talking about the competition. As for the familiar faces from the previous batches, everyone wasn't too surprised. What they talked about the most was Sima Yue, The monster among the freshmen. The first place would definitely be Little Seven. There was no doubt about it, and there was no debate about it. As for the second place, everyone started to debate. Some said it would be Wang Ximiao. Some said it would be Huapiao Miao. Some said that Wang Ximiao was the second place last time, so it would definitely be him this time. Some said that Huapiao Miao only lost to Wang Ximiao by 1.5 moves in the previous competition. She had been working hard these few years and had improved a lot. She would definitely win against Wang Ximiao and become the second place. Others said that the second place would be Peng Jianan or Mo Bin. Because they performed well in the previous rounds and didn't lose to Wang Ximiao and Huapiao Miao, the second place could also be theirs. 10 years wasn't a long time, but it wasn't short either. To the young people who were at the peak of their career, they could have improved a lot in these 10 years, or they could have stayed the same. So it was hard to say who would be the second place. Among the many voices, there was a small voice that had a different opinion. I think that the second place will be Sima Yuyue. Someone said. As for this opinion, some people supported it, while others laughed. How could a freshman get to the second place? It was her luck to be able to enter the top 10. At the same time, somewhere in the mountains behind the school, Peng Jianan turned left and right and came to a mountain. He looked behind him and after confirming that there was no one, he entered the cave at the foot of the mountain. This cave was very deep. The surrounding walls had traces of new carvings. It was obvious that it was dug out not long ago. After he entered the cave, he took a few turns and entered the innermost stone room. In the stone room, an old man was meditating. When he heard that he had come, he opened his eyes and asked, "Why are you here?" Peng Jianan bowed to the old man and said, "I've already investigated what happened last time. At that time, Sima Yue and Little Seven gave Wang Ximiao that poison. At that time, the person who overheard our conversation was their member, Fatty Chu. I think that he was the one who told Sima Yue the news. That was why Sima Yue gave him the poison and hindered our previous operation." Sima Yue, where did this person come from? He actually managed to create a poison that can kill a monarch-level expert. The old man asked. Peng Jianan told the old man everything he had found out about Sima Yue and the others, allowing the old man to decide what to do next. That person was able to get so close to us last time. This means that he knows how to restrain his aura. The old man said, "He's called Fatty Chu, right? This person ruined our plans. Let's find a chance to get rid of him." "Yes, Elder Peng. His friends must know as well. Let's deal with them together," Elder Peng said. "What about Little Seven? I really didn't expect that after searching for so many years in the inner courtyard, the Eye of the Earth had actually transformed into a human form." Elder Peng said. "No wonder we couldn't find her even after searching for so long. This is indeed surprising," Peng Jianan said. "At first I didn't link Little Seven to the Eye of the Earth. However, I realized yesterday that Little Seven's strength is too strong. It's not something an ordinary transformed beast can possess. Therefore, she is most likely the Eye of the Earth. Since we've already confirmed it, we should act quickly," Elder Peng said. "There are many experts in the academy. If I didn't have the help of a treasure, I wouldn't have been able to hide here for so long. I feel that recently, there have been divine senses scanning the back of the mountain. Therefore, I think the academy has already sensed something. Then we should act quickly," Peng Jianan said. "If we're late, I'm afraid we won't be able to escape. It's not likely that we can hide from the academy and kidnap the Eye of the Earth. Let's discuss a comprehensive plan and execute it immediately," Elder Peng said. "Should we ask for outside help?" Peng Jianan asked. "Not at the moment," Elder Peng said. "The people in the academy have been watching closely. I don't dare to do anything. I'm afraid that once we contact the outside world, we will be discovered by those old fellows. How about this? You think of a way to bring the Eye of the Earth to the back of the mountain. As long as those old fellows don't come, we still have time to escape after capturing her. If it's within the academy, I'm afraid those old fellows will come even earlier. There's a space barrier in the academy. We can't tear through space. As long as we leave this area, we can leave successfully." "All right, I'll definitely think of a way to bring little Seven to the back of the mountain. Pang Jianan said, however, Elder Peng, that Wang Si Miao the reason you gave that person last time, did he believe you? He did. Then continue to let them do it. Elder Peng said, it's best if they succeed. If they don't succeed, as long as we get the Eye of the Earth, everything else is trivial. I understand. Pang Jianan said, however, Elder Peng, we can find them to kill Wang Si Miao. However, if we want to kill Sima Yue and the others, I'm afraid it won't be easy to find them. After all, it won't be easy to find an excuse. Elder Peng thought for a while and said, the situation now is different. We have to prioritize getting the Eye of the Earth. We can't let other things affect this. Let's put aside the matter of those people for now. We'll talk about it again when we get out. Yes. All right, you can go back first. If you don't get in touch with me, don't come here again unless the plan is carried out. Don't expose my location. Elder Peng said. Yes. Pang Jianan left the cave and looked around. After confirming that there was no one around, he left the back of the mountain and rushed towards the academy. What he didn't know was that on the big tree outside the cave, there were 2 scarlet bees hiding in the dense leaves. One of the scarlet bees followed him out of the back of the mountain. The other stayed on the tree and continued to watch the cave. Parting garden. Sima Yue, Little Seven and Wang Si Miao sat in the pavilion in the courtyard. How is it? Did you hear any news? Little Seven asked. Sima Yue shook her head and said, there's a very strong person on the other side. The scarlet bees didn't dare to get close. They could only hear some things faintly. What did you hear faintly? They mentioned Yuan Senior. Sima Yue said, I don't know what it is exactly. I didn't think that there would be such an expert hidden in the academy. I wonder if the academy knows about this. Wang Si Miao said with a solemn face. No matter if they know or not, we have to remind Instructor Mao and the others. Sima Yue said, these people are hiding in the academy. They must have some secret that they can't let others know. To us, this is a huge hidden danger. She looked at Little Seven. The other party must be coming for Little Seven. She had to tell the academy. If Little Seven got into trouble, it would be too late for regrets. Chapter 873. Sima Yue went to look for Mao Sanquan. She wanted to remind him, but his reaction made her suspicious. Mao Sanquan said, don't let Little Seven go out alone recently. That means he knows someone is hiding in the academy. But before he could ask the question in his heart, he waved his hand and said, go back and prepare for tomorrow's match. I have high hopes for you. Remember, don't let Little Seven go to the back mountain alone. I got it. Sima Yue nodded and left. How was it? Little Seven was waiting for her downstairs. Seeing her come out, she jumped over and asked. She didn't go in with him because she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to control herself and would want to beat him up. I think the academy already knew about it, but they didn't do anything about it. Maybe he's waiting for something. Sima Yue said. Instructor Mao told you not to go to the back of the mountain alone. It's best if you don't walk around the school alone. As expected, they came for Little Seven. Wang Si Miao said. You know that too. Sima Yue looked at him warily. Don't worry, Wang Si Miao said. I don't have any other thoughts. I don't have any other thoughts. Sima Yue stared at him. If he dared to have any thoughts about Little Seven, she would have to think carefully about what to do. Yes, Wang Si Miao looked at her calmly. I know that Little Seven is the Eye of the Earth. However, I didn't plan to tell anyone about this, nor did I plan to kidnap Little Seven. Besides, I don't have the ability to do so. How did you know? Little Seven's strength is beyond human ability. You are already abnormal. Little Seven's fighting strength was so strong when she was young. At that time, I was already suspicious. Wang Si Miao said. At that time, I thought that Little Seven was some kind of transformed beast. But after I asked my teacher, he said that there were no transformed beast in the academy. At that time, I suspected that Little Seven was the Eye of the Earth. Sima Yue looked at him, trying to determine if he was telling the truth. After that, I came into contact with Little Seven a few more times, but I didn't confirm my thoughts. Later, after seeing her evolve, I was able to confirm Little Seven's identity. Wang Ximiao said. However, I didn't spread the news about him. So if you can think of it, so can Peng Jianan. Or rather, all of you can think of it, Sima Yue said. Not necessarily. Wang Ximiao said. Peng Jianan came for Little Seven, and because I've interacted with Little Seven a few times, we connected her to the eye of the earth. If other people don't pay attention to it, they might not notice it. He won't harm me, Little Seven said. Sima Yue saw that she trusted Wang Ximiao so much. She thought of the time when she asked her to give him the antidote. This meant that Little Seven trusted him. Since Little Seven didn't say anything, she naturally couldn't do anything. It was just that she kept an eye on him in her heart. Her expression changed as she made a new discovery. What is it, Yu? Little Seven asked. Sima Yue glanced at Wang Ximiao and said, The Scarlet Bees sent back news that Peng Jianan and the Cloaked Man met. Where are they? Wang Ximiao asked. The back of the mountain. When Sima Yue arrived at the back of the mountain, she saw the continuous mountain range and couldn't help but sigh. The back of the mountain was really a good place to hide evil. Those people who were planning to do bad things all hid here, and no one would notice them. She brought Little Seven and Wang Ximiao to a mountain and stopped, saying, The other party is not weak. Can you restrain your aura? Wang Ximiao nodded his head and activated a cultivation technique. His originally faint aura immediately retracted completely. If they weren't standing in front of him, they wouldn't have noticed him. What a high-level technique to hide one's aura. It was even better than her own. If she could get her hands on it and let her people learn it, then their battle abilities would increase by a lot. She just didn't know if this guy was willing to exchange it. Wang Ximiao saw Sima Yue staring at him, and a bad feeling arose in his heart. He was like a mouse being stared at by a cat. What's wrong? Nothing. Sima Yue smiled and said, Since you've already retracted your aura, then let's go over. The three of them quietly approached and found a place to hide, listening to Peng Jianan and the Cloaked Man's conversation. Did you remember everything I just told you? Peng Jianan said. I've already remembered all the people you mentioned, but the price. The Black Cloaked Man's voice was hoarse. It was unknown if it was originally like this, or if it could be faked. One person, 100,000 middle-grade crystals. Peng Jianan said, This price is already very good. 100,000 middle-grade crystals, it's not bad. The Black Cloaked Man said, According to the old rules, pay half the deposit, and the rest will be paid when you see the head. Peng Jianan took out a crystal card and threw it to him, saying, I hope the sooner the better. Even if it's fast, it won't be that fast. We won't make a move in the academy. Once they leave, we'll naturally arrange it for you. The Black Cloaked Man said. All right, I understand. Peng Jianan said, You can go back. But the Black Cloaked Man didn't move at all. What's wrong? Peng Jianan said unhappily. Last time, you actually hid Wang Ximiao's identity. The Black Cloaked Man said. You used the excuse of a love rival to have us kill him, but the news we received recently is not like this. What news? Wang Ximiao is a member of the Wang clan. Just like your Peng clan, it's a big power. You didn't want to reveal the relationship between the two clans. But you used us, and didn't tell us the truth, causing us to lose so much last time. Don't you think that you should give us some compensation? The Black Cloaked Man said. Wang Ximiao's matter has nothing to do with his identity. It's because Sima Yue gave him poison when he left the Karma Desert. Your people were poisoned by her poison, and that's why they were killed by Wang Ximiao. So if you want to blame someone, you can only blame her. Peng Jianan shrugged, and said unconcernedly. Sima Yue. So, I asked you to kill him, not only because of me, but because he knew about our matter. You killed him to keep it a secret for yourself. Peng Jianan said. If you don't leave, I'll leave. If someone sees us again, things will be troublesome. After he finished speaking, he turned and flew away, leaving the Black Cloaked Man alone. This is an assassin organization hidden in the academy. Sima Yue looked at Wang Ximiao in astonishment. Wang Ximiao shook his head. I don't know. This is the first time I've heard of such a thing. That person is leaving, what should we do? Little Seven pulled Sima Yue's sleeve and said. What else can we do? Let's capture him first. Sima Yue finished speaking and went out from her hiding place. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.